Former President Trump's running mate J.D. Vance countered at a rally in Reno, Nevada.
She is dangerously liberal, and she will never be the president of the United States because we're not going to let her.
In Arizona, Carrie Lake won the Republican Senate primary 2 years after losing the governor's race. She'll take on Democrat Ruben Gallego. The winner will replace independent Senator Kyrsten Sinema. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. Tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. This is the Morning Extra. Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los. Glad that everybody's here. Glad that you're here. 44741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the platforms. Saying hello, waving hello to the folks watching on the YouTube channel. We just appreciate everybody being up early with us. But it's Wednesday's hump day. And it's also National Avocado Day. Did y'all know that?
No.
National freaking Avocado Day. Let's freaking go.
It's a celebration. How else do you get guacamole?
Exactly right. I mean, and I was never, it was probably about 10 years
You weren't
ago.
raised right. I'm telling you right now.
I wasn't raised. I didn't know. I had no idea about, I don't know, it's probably been 15 years now, but maybe even 20. But regardless, I wasn't raised on avocados. And now, all of a sudden, man, we eat avocados like they're going out of style.
Avocados are amazing. I'm like you. I mean, I really kind of fell into the avocado craze about 10, 15 years ago and really start to enjoy them. And now, rather than just guacamole, I like to just cut them open, throw some lemon on them, some pepper on them, and just eat them.
Oh, so good.
Man,
Cut them up on a salad.
Yeah, throw some soy sauce over them. They're so versatile.
Yeah, they're so good. And our board op, Goey Virgin River, is a bad take on this.
I don't care for them.
You don't care for avocados?
No, they gross me out when they start to
when they get
brown.
It doesn't bother me.
When they hit oxygen?
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. Just like it doesn't bother me when an apple turns a little bit brown. Doesn't care at all. Now, my wife's the same way. If it's got the hint of brown, she's like, no, I'm not eating
That's why you throw a little lemon juice on it. Don't worry about it. Or eat them on time.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens is that we'll make dinner one night, like if it's Taco Tuesday, for example, like yesterday. And she'll make she calls it avocado smash. So it's not a full-on guacamole, but just smash it up, a little salt and pepper, that's it. And, eat that with the tacos or whatever. Jacob used, last night he had to work. He didn't get home until, he got off at 9, so 10 minutes from the house, so 9:15, whatever. And she'd already thrown it away because it started browning. I was like, no.
No, that's right. The edge of good.
I know. You and I know that, but for whatever, she's much like Joe. She sees it starts to change colors.
Maybe it's just the white girl in her.
It could be. Surely it could be. And she didn't grow up on avocados either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't get a lot of avocados in New York for some reason.
The one good thing is that she wasn't on the White Girls for Comic Con. So, I mean, that's a saving grace. All right?
So,
that's because she's an actual girl.
That's true. She's not pretending to be.
Right.
That's part of it.
I'm female, but not really. Have you guys ever seen these stone mixing bowls that are every now and then you'll see them at Mexican restaurants?
Yes.
Okay. My grandparents had those, and they were there for the avocado. All right, they'd open it up, get into the stone mixing bowl, and I remember just thinking to myself, "Man, that's a really cool device. I think everyone has one." No, that's a Texas South Texas
for
thing.
sure it is.
It is.
I did not grow up with that.
I bought one actually when I was in Texas after watching them make it at the table in that bowl.
It makes it happen so much better.
Yeah,
so good.
Stone mixing bowl.
I love it, man. I use it for everything, too.
It's like growing up in the deep South like I did, having a cast iron skillet.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And can I tell you how else my wife sins?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Hold on.
She uses soap.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Too much.
I can't even breathe. Dawn?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, so she just ruins cast iron.
Dude,
Oh,
she's like,
I'm about to cry.
I tell her every time
Oh, that's
I see her
horrible.
washing, I was like, do you realize my grandma is rolling over her grave right now?
She'd hit her with it.
The woman is upside down in her grave because of you.
Man. So I belong to a Facebook group, cast iron Facebook group.
I love it. I didn't even know there was one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not surprised, but I didn't know.
The biggest fight ever is if someone uses Dawn or any kind of liquid soap
How could you?
in their cast iron, and the fights that go on for this. But yeah, I love my cast iron. I have a cast iron wok.
Yeah,
Greatest thing I've ever
good,
bought in
dude.
my life.
Cast
I
iron.
love cast iron.
Yeah,
Man.
this thing has been handed down for years too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is probably it's definitely my grandmother's if it wasn't her mama's. So it may have been my great grandmother's.
We didn't have one, at least for me. Like the wife grew up with a little bit more of that.
She grew up in Alabama.
I mean, she was in high school in Alabama.
Yeah,
They were all around the
military, so
world.
they were all around.
And so I didn't have like the first cast iron skillet till maybe about 17, 20 years ago.
About the time me and Rhino picked up guacamole.
And that's when I found out. I was like, you realize how many awesome things you can make in that?
Everything.
Holy
Awesome.
Lord.
Everything.
Fried
I mean, it's
green
so
tomatoes.
perfect. Oh, man.
Everything.
Sausage gravy.
You can throw a
Yes.
steak, burgers, whatever you want to
Doesn't
do.
matter what it is.
Everything. God bless us.
That's why I bought that wok. You just season it. So I keep all my bacon grease. Just
Yeah.
season.
Hopefully in a coffee can.
Well, coffee cans are hard to find now, like metal coffee cans.
Yeah,
So, but
sure.
nice, good ball glass jar.
Yeah, there you go. Mason
Yeah.
jar. That'll
Yeah.
do it.
Mason jar
of grease.
mason jar of heart attack.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I'm telling you, it's tasty.
but it makes everything
It
taste good.
tastes real good. And you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. So yes, it's good that you have that. You know what I mean? But when I was growing up, it was always a Maxwell House. Because that's what Mom and Daddy always
With the
drank.
bacon grease? They use Crisco too?
All of it.
Yeah,
They just
everything in one.
I don't ever remember seeing them use Crisco. I'm sure they did.
Sure.
But I just don't remember seeing it much. But because they always had the grease that they
Yeah.
needed right there, and it sat right on the right there on the stove.
Well, you want a really good high temperature, high yield grease or to actually really season your grill. Otherwise, the burning part is too early for a lot of like the avocado oil.
Yeah.
It's too quick. So
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want that. You want something like bacon grease or
Yes.
Crisco's. good.
Yes.
I still remember. I mean, we're now.
Wonderful.
Man, I'm ready to make breakfast in the skillet.
Me too.
We are years removed from when my wife got the invite over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because all the neighborhood ladies, it was all led by my grandmother, but the neighborhood ladies would all make tamales. All right. And so that's like a process. Like, got to get everything set up. You got to put them in the corn husk, all that sort of stuff. And after a couple hours, my wife just goes, "Do you realize how much Crisco they use?" They just had a vat, just like a big
just
thing of
scoop it
Crisco,
out.
and just
Yep.
constantly. I mean, there's a reason why it tastes so wonderful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that pretty much ended that project and that meal for her.
Oh, really?
She's like, it was just too much.
She couldn't eat it anymore. How
Man,
about
that is the best project to watch.
Oh my God. Fresh tamales.
Homemade tamales, yeah.
Holy Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good. That's Dalton, Georgia, where I'm from, has been. I forget who it was. One of the cooking or was it Wine and Cheese magazine? No, that's not it. Something
Yeah,
food
Wine and
magazine.
Cheese.
It's something. Yeah, it's definitely not one.
It's good enough.
Yeah, but one of those magazines like that focuses on food. They said Dalton, Georgia was like in the top 5 best Mexican food in America.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not surprising because such a flux. I mean, it's just working class folks working in carpet mills. Immigrants come there, and work in the carpet mills. So, I mean, there's just great Mexican food. Nearly every corner. I wouldn't contend that it's like, growing up in Texas necessarily. But, I mean, it's good.
Is there a favorite up there that you have?
Los Reyes is
Los Reyes.
terrific.
All right.
And that one's
Because I'll
been there
stop
since
next time I'm on my
yeah,
way
man.
up. I love, Mexican food is some of the greatest food.
Dude, yeah, Los Reyes was the original that I remember and probably not. It's probably even before me, but that's the one that I remember growing up and going Bryman's Plaza.
Yeah.
And then there's one on Cleveland Highway and whatever that shopping center over there is called.
Go get me some Tugland tamales.
Dude, it's so good. So freaking good. But anyway, so yesterday, talking about things that are not quite as pleasant as Mexican food and guacamole and, anything you can cook in a skillet, in a cast iron skillet. The testimony in front of the Senate was pretty mind-numbing. I was hoping that, something would come out of it. And, of course, the answer was, well, fool, why would you expect that? And nothing came out.
So this was, for me, it was nap time, all right? And then the text messages from you guys start going. And I realize, all right, nap time's over. Not going to go ahead and do this. Turn it on over to like C-SPAN. And you're right. It was just this, it was a never-ending string of boats of crap.
Yeah.
Just what it was.
That's exactly right. Nothing was said. Nothing was...
You guys nailed it. Have we been doing a show and been like, this is how useless and pathetic this sounds?
I think my text to y'all was like, I feel dumber for having watched this.
Yeah.
Because nothing came out of it. And, I say that. I guess something did come out of it.
Yeah.
One slight thing that I would say came out of it is when the deputy director of this FBI was asked, was Donald Trump hit by a bullet? Was there ever any confusion by that? And he said, no, there's never been any confusion by that. I've been on this investigation since the beginning. So why would it be that Christopher Wray last week would say, well, we're not sure. We're not sure that he got hit by a bullet. Could have been glass, could have been shrapnel, could have been all kinds of, we don't know. He knew.
Well, he's
he
a
knew
political hack.
He knew the entire time. That means it just illuminates the fact that your FBI is a politicized organization. That's what it tells you. Your biggest law enforcement entity at the federal level is politicized, and they clearly lean to the left, or not even lean to the left. They're clearly
they're very
leftists.
much.
They're clearly leftists.
They've become, we go back to the 1860s, where after the Civil War ends, you then have the rise of the KKK. And that was the shock troops for the Democrat Party to make sure that minority Americans could not vote and were kept in largely, hey, you live among us, but we're making sure you don't live among us. That's what the FBI now does on a different level when it comes to professionally going, you happen to lean a different way than we do, so we're going to make sure that we put cases together against you. Like, we're going to make sure we keep you in your place.
Yeah, the weird part about this entire thing was, you're absolutely right. We found out what we already knew, that there was a bullet. The other thing that, we found out is that a 20-year-old who was able to get 8 shots off at a former president can dupe our FBI and Secret Service, and they can't even get into his phone this far down. I mean, this was July 13th when this happened, okay? So we're talking almost 20 days now, and they can't get into his phone. They are outsmarted by a 20-year-old that, obviously had some mental issues. We do know that. So these are the kind of things that really confuse me. You're supposed to be the best in the world. You can find information about everybody else, but not this guy. Why? And so I think a lot of questions are going to be raised. And the more it went on, I thought Lindsey Graham, asked some good questions and some, smart questions. But at the same time, it was very political theater and not much answered from what we already know.
What did you guys think about the information of the association of what they found social media-wise that was talked about, basically during the last hearing, and then what was going around yesterday, which was they know a lot more, that this guy was a Biden supporter.
Absolutely.
Supporter of lockdown, supporter of open borders. This was just as we expected, just as it was not unusual to realize this was a political hit from somebody who's a Biden supporter.
And the FBI knew it. And even in the opening statements yesterday, they talked about this stuff that he was anti-immigrant and he was something else. Regardless, anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic, anti-immigrant, and they would not go any further than that.
Right. Yet, when later Marsha Blackburn asked about that, asked about him being pro-Biden, pro-lockdown, And the deputy FBI director's like, well, yeah, he was all those things. Now, I didn't bring it up.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you since you brought it up, but I'm not going to tell everybody.
Right. We weren't going to tell anybody. And the other concerning, and I'm glad that Carlos brought that up, because the other concerning thing to me was the link between Iran, their plot to assassinate Donald Trump, this man, and we don't know if he was an actor or dealing with them, but the anti-Semitic views also kind of align with that. So is Iran and the propaganda getting to our 20-year-olds? Are they using social media to get to them and kind of rise them to this level of hatred and mental illness that they'll take on these things? We hear these stories all the time. And again, it happens to Democrats. It happens to Republicans. We get threats from these 20 to 25-year-old kids who are just unfortunately mentally not able to handle life in a way that most people can and do these kind of things. It's the rhetoric that we continue to put out there, but it doesn't surprise me at all that Iran is a part of this. So when we're talking about foreign powers and what's going on and an attempted assassination on a president, I think that's pretty important as well to notice the bad actors in these things.
Well, and I think what also jumps out to me was that when we did end up seeing the leaked email from within the Secret Service and see the amount of criticism of this is an organization that is dominated by directors and supervisors that are trying to cover their own butt no matter what, and that the people within the organization realize we can't do the job effectively anymore because of your policies. And whether that be just the whole situation with retention, whether it be the DEI policies, whatever it is,
all of them.
They recognize within the organization, and it was pointed out, you're going to have another assassination attempt on Donald Trump before the election.
Yep. And they don't want, look, I get it. Don't do these outside rallies. Be really careful of them. But, I mean, we should be able to.
We should be able to do it, man.
We should be able to handle
and
this.
trust.
We can do it in the Super Bowl. We can do it in other areas
For
with
sure.
90,000 people.
That's exactly right.
We can do it. Ronald Rowe told us something that we already knew as well, that this was a complete failure by the Secret Service. I mean, these aren't good enough
acting
answers.
director. Thank you.
I mean, not good enough. Not good enough.
I know we got to get to headlines, but the one answer when he said, I have no excuse. I have no answers. How did this happen? I don't know.
Can't tell you.
Can't tell you.
It was a collection. Okay, one of two things. It was a collection of colossal failures or intentional. You pick which one you want it to be.
Yeah.
And maybe one causing the other. Intentional causing the colossal failures. That's the way I swear that's what I think. Morning Xtra, Xtra 1063.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, July 31st. 34-year-old Sean Patrick Cirillo pleaded guilty to threatening to kill U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and her staff yesterday. Cirillo was arrested in November after he called Congresswoman Greene's congressional office in Washington, D.C. and said, I got a bead on her like a sniper rifle, and I'm going to kill her next week. I'm going to murder her. I'm going to kill you too. You're going to die. Your family's going to die. A federal magistrate judge noted in November that Cirillo had a mental illness and was not taking his medication. He faces up to 5 years in prison. Vice President Harris hosted thousands of supporters at her rally last night in downtown Atlanta. According to the Harris campaign, it was the biggest Democratic rally of the campaign cycle to date. The event also included performances from hip-hop stars Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo. Harris was joined by U.S. Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, along with two-time gubernatorial loser Stacey Abrams, speaking at the rally. And in sports, Jared Kelnick hit a home run and a double, and Austin Riley went 4 for 5 as the Braves beat the Milwaukee Brewers 5-1 last night. Bryce Elder carried a shutout into the 7th inning, only allowing 1 run and striking out 7 in the win. The Braves will close out their series with the Brewers this afternoon at 2:10. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the Braves. You can catch the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
I don't know what makes me more sick. The testimony that we saw yesterday or legendary Spinnaker Beach Club in Panama City Beach being demolished. And I was told when we were down there earlier this year that it was coming, man. Just to see the footage of Spinnaker on the ground made me want to throw up. Like I was back in the Navy throwing up on my computer again.
Oh, man.
That's what it made me feel like right
That's
there.
sad.
It is.
I've been there.
Oh, my gosh. Spinnaker, I love you.
I've walked back to my hotel from there. Well,
Club
stumbled.
La Vila. Apparently, Club La Vila
Club
is going to be opening back up.
Well, let's go.
New ownership. You know, Spinnaker was right next door, and so yeah, it's a sad day. Oh well. Sorry, it's me throwing up. And next on Extra 106.3, we'll talk to Neil Bortz, the Talkmaster.
The 2024 election changes by the day. So with the future of the country on the line, you need more than headlines. You need the conservative voices you can trust, which is why the Conservative Voice of Atlanta brings you the local and national voices you need most to make sense of all the noise. We bring you proud veterans, Atlanta Talk radio legends, and local perspectives that shape our communities.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months right here on Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Rhino here for my friends over at True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway, a locally owned company, a locally owned place that actually cares about the people they serve. Because right now, more than ever, you need to make sure you have the essentials. We're hearing every day things from Kamala Harris that, well, quite in fact, worry me. The fact that she says within the first 100 days she'll sign an executive order confiscating everyone's guns. That's scary enough. But then think about, well, what would that lead to? What do they want? Well, they want us in food lines. They want us begging for water. They want to control everything. Well, I don't want that to happen, and that's why I go to True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway to make sure that I do have freeze-dried food, that I have water filtration, that I have first aid kits, and that I have the ability to buy an AR-15 and even go to one of their great classes, an AR-15 builder class. That's right. It's a workshop that they have there at locally owned True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway. One of the great things about them is that they do have a lot of these workshops. They also have all the firearms, firearm accessories, and ammo, so that if they do, you need to make sure that you're stocked up, ready to go, and holding on and staying strong and making sure you're protecting your family. But these workshops are important, and if you're new to prepping, the Intro to Preparedness supplies, Intro to the Build Your Bug Out Bag, your Get Home Bag. These are things that you should know. These are things where you can start, and the professionals over at True Prep will make sure that they take good care of you. Tell them Rhino sent you over there. I promise you, they will walk you through everything that you need, where to start, and what workshops you might be able to take. So go down, visit, check out their entire showroom and all the cool things they have in Marietta on Cobb Parkway, right before Highway 5. You can't miss it. Or go online right now, check out everything right there, including those workshops. Sign up for a workshop, especially the Intro to Emergency Preparedness workshop that's coming up in the next week or two. True Prep. That's TRU. Prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
What is spacious, has a versatile cabin, offers an inclusive voice assistant, and luxurious accommodations for up to 7? Meet the 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 4MATIC SUV. The advanced GLE SUV leaps further ahead with turbo hybrid power, fresh styling, and even more innovative technology. Experience the 2024 GLE 350 4MATIC SUV. Lease one today for just $839 per month for 36 months with $63.53 due at signing. Exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models. And visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through July 31st, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract contract renewal.
Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. The Safe House crew hopes everyone is enjoying their vacation this summer. We know the criminals are watching and waiting for you to leave so they can bust in and steal your stuff. But hey, there is a solution. Come purchase a quality safe from Atlanta Safe House. And with summer rebates and specials, you can save hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a quality safe. And remember, don't let an illegal or crackhead deliver or move your safe. They could very well know your combination. So drop by the showroom or go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now is a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after-the-sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. And this morning, you get Neil Bortz, the Talkmaster. What's up, Neil? How are you?
Well, I'm sad that I tuned in, hooked up my equipment a little bit too late to hear your puke story.
Oh, well, so what happened was...
Don't repeat it.
No, repeat it. It was just quickly. No, I was in the Navy, had too much to drink. I came back to the ship in Malta, and there was a new computer sitting in the office, and I got the room spins and yacked all over it. My buddies saved my hide by cleaning the whole thing up the next day.
That's nice.
Dude, that's what Navy dudes will do for you, man. They got your back.
We had a board operator over at the other radio station that spilled a liter of Dr. Pepper into a 5 or 6 figure control board, and one by one the elements started smoking and going out.
Did you rescue this man?
No, hell no.
You're not a Navy guy. Of course you didn't.
No, Navy seagoing bellhops.
Oh, you just went after Tug's heart.
See, that's
the look on his face.
That's ugly to say, Neil Bortz.
That's
ugly to say about someone served this fine nation.
Seagoing bellhop.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Marines needed somebody to take care of the laundry and
you mean the Department
smell.
of the Navy, the Marine Corps that is a Department of the Navy.
Yeah.
The Marine Corps that wouldn't exist without the Navy. Is that the ones you're talking about?
It doesn't mean you don't get better.
Yeah. The Marines
what a wonderful start this morning.
Yeah, the Marines are pretty badass. I'll give you that.
So, and then this guy gets chased out of a Chipotle on Campbellton Road.
Yeah, man, for not taking out the trash.
Anybody that does look, when I first moved to Atlanta, you know what Campbellton Road was?
What's that?
That's where all the flight attendants lived.
Yes.
They called them stewardesses back then.
I'd want to live there.
That was a huge, happy hunting ground. Well, it still is, except now you're the hunted. Who in the hell would want to live on Campbellton Road?
Not me, buddy. No. I don't have any idea. But
would you rather live in South Fulton or South Chicago?
Is there a difference?
Okay. Would you rather live in South Fulton or Honduras?
I was about to say South Fulton. I've been to South side of Chicago. I'll take my chance with South Fulton.
All right, yeah. What about Honduras then?
I've never
been to Honduras. I don't know.
Well, how about South Fulton or Venezuela?
South Fulton at this point.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad news over there.
I mean, South Fulton County, but Campbellton Road. I won't. It used to be a shortcut to the airport. I won't use that anymore. No way. You do not want to be on Campbellton Road. Period. So this guy, that boss did him a favor. Go sign up with the Chipotle or a Moe's or something like that in East Cobb. and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, you will. You probably won't get chased out with a gun for not taking out the trash during your training week.
And this is more from listening to you about throwing a slab of cheese at babies. How many of you have had infants?
All of us, every one of us.
I hope at some point during their infancy you handed them a lemon wedge.
Yeah, of course, to get the face. Yeah, when they're like, ah! Dude, it's hysterical.
My son loved it.
Did he?
Oh, God, he wanted another one. I was
That's
like,
crazy.
Well, this stinks.
This game is no fun.
Yeah.
That is just a must-do.
Yes, sir, it is.
And, that's cruel. No, you have a camera. You've got to get that. You got to get that reaction. Okay, some of the things that caught my attention this morning. My commentary is really gloom and doom.
Oh no.
It is. I mean, I cannot believe how dedicated the bulk of the mainstream media is to promoting and pushing in any way possible the candidacy of Kamala Harris. I mean, in their mind, she must be elected. It has to happen. And I'm just telling people right now, the most important thing to focus on in this election is to make damn sure the Democrats don't get control of the House. And it would be wonderful if you could get these two zits off the face of Georgia politics, Ossoff and Warnock, and send them back to whence they came. But how did that happen to Georgia?
Well, I think there's a lot of bad decisions and shaky elections. I mean, there's all kinds of things that went on.
You put up poor candidates. I mean, let's be honest with who we put up. People who really couldn't run a race. I mean, we had David Perdue, Kelly Loeffler, and as much as I like both of them, I do, neither one of them ran a really good campaign. They were very divisive in their speech. They didn't energize people to go to the polls at all. And then you follow up with the opportunity to knock Raphael Warnock off with Herschel Walker. And as much as I love Herschel, again, he wasn't the best candidate in that race during the primary season.
Wasn't even a good candidate.
Not at all.
So it was just sad. And then another thing I picked out of the news, I know I never come up with any story you haven't heard about or talked about. You know that Russia is eyeballing Alaska now?
Yeah. We've heard about the aircraft flying over and around and all that. Yeah.
And commentators on Russian television talking about our Alaska, that Alaska really is ours. It belongs to Russia.
And the sad thing is right now, our military is in no shape, Neil Boards, to handle a major conflict like that. And I know we've always had the greatest and the strongest military. I'm certainly proud to have served in it. But right now, we are in no shape. We can't get planes off the ground. We can't build ships. We can't get half of our ships out to sea. I mean, our military is in shambles.
And nobody is more aware of that than Russia.
That's exactly right.
And so
China.
Of course, and China. So they put nuclear submarines with nuclear-tipped missiles in Havana Harbor and threaten us with these close flybys over the United States. I mean, well, what we need is a real strong badass like Kamala Harris as president.
But see, that's the thing.
That'll fix everything.
That's it. That'll put us even further in the hole, and I'm afraid that she has a chance of winning this.
Has a chance. If I had to bet right now, and I'm not a betting man, I would be in Georgia. I'd play the lottery in Georgia. I will not in Florida. But if I was a betting man, I would bet Kamala Harris. It's hard. It's hard to beat somebody like Trump, who deals in name calling and this with a candidate who can actually read a speech and has the media 95% behind her. It's hard to battle that. So I'd have to bet on her. We've got to make sure not to lose control of the House. I mean, look what Biden in his last 6 months thinks that he can accomplish with the Supreme Court.
Not a chance.
Well, I know it's not a chance, but he wouldn't even utter those words if it was a liberal majority on the Supreme Court.
Right. But you know what? I mean, is there a chance? Yes, there is a chance if we don't get out to the polls, because there are 5 seats that the Democrats could flip and take control of the House. They've already got the Senate. They can win that. So if they get all 3 branches, that is something they can do, is fundamentally change the way the Supreme Court and this country is run
in the next 6 months.
Yes, in the next 6 months, Biden has no shot in doing it, but he's laying the groundwork.
It's a great conversation, too.
But this is a groundwork that they're putting out there because they want that to translate over to Kamala Harris by saying, hey, women, your fundamental right to kill babies is under attack by the right, so you need to vote for us so that we can change the Supreme Court. It's a good campaigning tool by Biden to back up Harris.
And what do you say? What do you say about a political party that their number one issue, all-encompassing number one issue, is preserving the right of women to kill their babies in the womb?
Yeah, that's my next
thing. Look, I'm not completely anti-abortion. I'm not. I understand that there may be
mother's life is in danger.
Or
rape, incest.
Maybe even economic, but there might be reasons it's legitimate early on. But I mean, you still have this idea that abortion should be legal right up to and immediately after birth. And to so many women, if you believe the media and you believe the Democrat Party, well, I mean, I don't really care that much about the future of this country. I don't care that much about my ability to buy a home in the future. I don't care that much about planning and saving for a good retirement. What I really care about is if I get pregnant, I want to be able to kill the baby. And, well, you know, we can help you with that. Here's 2 aspirin, hold them between your knees, or here's a condom, or here are contraceptive. Oh, no
personal responsibility, Neil.
I don't want to have to do any of that. If I happen to get pregnant, I just want to be able to kill the baby.
Well, you happen to live in that 80 percentile of most Americans who do believe that abortion should be available, should be legal. It's just that we have this 10% on one end who no way, no how, no ever, never abortion, and then a 10% who, as you were alluding to, right up until the moment of birth or just after, and that one continues to be the loudest group.
I know. And what do you say about a political party that is their overriding number one issue?
It's a culture of death.
It is.
Well, the number 2 is fear, right? You're like, black, you have to vote for us because Donald Trump doesn't like black people. He doesn't like women. He doesn't, everything else is based on fear. There's actually nothing in her campaign. There is you can make fun of Project 2025, even though we know it's fake, or Agenda 47, but I have no agenda from the Kamala Harris campaign except for, like you said, killing babies and the fact there's a threat that Donald Trump is going to be a dictator and take care of everybody else and eliminate everyone. It's ridiculous.
Well, there are elements of the agenda which are kind of downplayed and kept off the conversational board. Think of some of the things that she supported in the past. Mm-hmm. She wants private health insurance to be outlawed.
Yep.
Bernie Sanders introduced a bill to make it, to outlaw, to ban private health insurance. And Kamala Harris was right on board with that. Great idea. I'm going to co-sponsor your bill. Now, what does that mean for America? That means that all of us would be forced by law, to get into the Obamacare government health insurance program. Mm-hmm. Hillary Clinton took it a step further. She went out there and in her Hillary Care book, her bill, which I actually bought at the government printing office and read, and I found the page in there where it said, if you go to a private doctor and pay him outside of the plan, you and the doctor can go to jail.
See, I love that. Yeah. That's fine. Communism, socialism. The other example that people need to look at is the VA, because anybody that's dealt with the VA knows what government health care is like, and it sucks. Period.
Well, I grew up with government health care because my dad was a career Marine. So where did we go? We went to the I don't know why they called it the dispensary. That's where I get my weed. But you went to the dispensary and you waited forever and ever just to see a doctor. I know one time my dad got his 6'7" button a crack one time because my younger brother broke his arm roller skating. Dad took him to the dispensary and they waited and waited and waited. And finally, Dad got up and headed to the back, and he found a doctor back there with his feet on his desk reading the newspaper, and my dad kicked his chair right out from underneath him and said, "You are going to see my son now." And there was a little bit of a poop storm over that, but he survived it.
But your example is exactly right, and I know so many people that have dealt with so many similar issues like that, Rhino.
But it's not even the VA. Obviously, we already know that. But you know what else is a problem? It's not a good coverage plan, and you don't have the option to go see a doctor now.
No, and if under Hillary, you would have gone to jail.
Yep.
And I guess under Kamala's plan, where private health insurance is banned, I don't know how in the hell you get around that, except maybe go to Mexico. You know, I had a doctor friend of mine who during the Obamacare thing was actually in negotiations with a country in the Caribbean to build a massive healthcare facility, clinic, hospital down there, staffed with American doctors, a place for Americans to go to get health care after our system was destroyed, if Hillary and Obama get their single-payer dream ever to come true. What does government do well? I read today about Kamala Harris had an idea back when she was a senator, $16 million, I think it was, to electrify school buses. Yeah, to get all these electric school buses on the road and save our planet. Later on, they had, I forgot the exact number.
I got it for you. $5 billion for 60 buses.
That's right.
Yeah, and what does that work out per bus?
A lot. I don't think I can do that math on the top of my head.
Well, I can tell you it's more than I paid for this bus.
Yeah, no kidding. There's no winning. Anything government has its hands in is bad.
Well, I think, Neil, once the confetti stops dropping, because that's what's gone on for the last several days, where suddenly Kamala Harris is now Winston Churchill incarnate. Once we then get back to policy and we start seeing all of this stuff hammered about her legislation and the stuff she voted on and the things she was a part of, what it's going to come back to is she is a hardcore California liberal, and I think that's going to be very tough in the Rust Belt, the flyover states.
I hope.
Yeah.
By the way, my personality, we all know I'm a little bit warped, okay? And thankfully it fit very well with my profession. Both of them practicing law and talk radio. We have a system on this bus. It's called AquaHot. It's just encased in a big aluminum case in one of the bays underneath. And I went and got a radiation sticker and put it on it. Danger radiation. So when I'm showing people the bus, well, what's that? Oh, that's just a small nuclear power plant that generates all the electricity we use on the bus. Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know they had. Oh, yeah. It's the same nuclear power plant they put in nuclear-powered, the Air Force nuclear-powered bombers and drones and stuff like that.
Navy ships.
Really? Yeah, people buy it. And if they will buy that, they'll buy anything.
I reckon you're right.
Especially from the media and from a politician.
Oh, don't ever believe a politician. That's the worst thing you can do. Neil Ports, thank you so much. We hope you have the best day ever. Tug, Rhino, and Los. Until 10, I was asked what I thought about Kamala's polling numbers last night at supper. And the answer to that question is next. On Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Remember the TV show House of Cards?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The one where Kevin Spacey starred in until these sex allegations came out and he had to step aside. Yeah. There's now a campaign ad showing his face as the political character Frank Underwood. He's running for president. It says, "Now is my time," and it uses his initials, Frank Underwood, initials, 2024.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
All right, the hot weather, the hot Georgia heat is coming back by this weekend. I know we've had this little bit of reprieve because of the rain, but it is coming back soon. So get yourself a maintenance agreement. Today's the last day, as a matter of fact, for Christmas in July, where if you get a maintenance agreement, $10 of that agreement goes to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. We'll go deliver a big old Happy Gilmore-style check to CHOA. Because we've all been to Children's, and we all love Children's. It's a blessing that we have it here in town. Now, the other blessing is that here in America, we created air conditioning. That is a blessing in and of itself. Make sure that your HVAC works the way it's supposed to. Get a maintenance agreement today, because hot weather can increase the risk of an air conditioner fire even, due to a bunch of different factors like overheating, dust and debris, electrical issues. There's all kinds of things. So make sure you keep that area around your HVAC units clear, debris, scrubbed, all that sort of stuff. Have it checked regularly by a professional like the ones at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. And if there's something wrong and they can't fix your AC, because they work on all different brands, they can replace it with a nice carrier system, but it's a little expensive, so let's get the work done now so we don't have to replace the whole thing in a maintenance agreement. Come out to your house twice a year and make sure that everything is A-OK. How do you get in touch with them? It's so simple. Call Chuck and his team. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Self-employed in 2021, you may be entitled to up to $32,220 in COVID tax relief. At smartsetc.com, our ex-IRS auditors leverage credentialed knowledge to help you understand your claim with no upfront costs. Don't miss out on this opportunity to maximize the claim you're entitled to. Take our short eligibility quiz at smartsetc.com now. That's smartsetc.com.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
Extra 106.3 is proud to be your conservative voice in Atlanta, and we offer a huge slate of original podcasts. Head over to thepodcastpark.com and grab the podcast that you love, all presented by Associated Credit Union.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3 came up at our house at dinner last night. What do you think about Kamala Harris? And she seems to be having some surge in the polls, and I was just like, I got to tell you, 96% of the media is going to hype her up because they agree with her. So let's just wait and see. And the polling would indicate there's not much difference in where she is and where Biden was.
It might be a half point, maybe a full point, essentially is what has gone on. And so when you look at, like, for instance, the Harvard-Harris poll that came out yesterday, Donald Trump still, and this is, just remember, the Democrats have to win the popular vote nationwide. They have to give themselves a chance when it comes to the Electoral College. You routinely see somebody who wins the popular vote not win the presidency. It's happened 2 times in the past 25 years, just kind of what goes on. And so when you see Donald Trump, even in the Harvard-Harris poll, up by 3 to 4%, depending on who they're surveying, left-leaning, right-leaning, hey, is RFK still going to be in this? Regardless, it's almost identical within about a point to half a point of what was going on when they had Joe Biden. It's almost like the same administration is running for a re-election.
What?
Yeah. It really is. And you know what? The media is really doing the work for this campaign right now. And they're telling you she's the most popular person, blah, blah, blah. But the polls don't lie. And you're going to see, this little fever about Kamala Harris because she is new. And you know what? A lot of people will look and say, hey, she looks like me. I'm going to go out and hear what she has to say. So when we see these rallies, when we see these things, remember, the media is going to show you one side of it. And that's what you're going to see right now. But these numbers aren't moving right now. And the more she has to talk, she can ask for a debate. She could play the game that she's playing right now. Donald Trump's already said, yep, we'll figure it out. We'll debate it. We're going to discuss the rules. They don't want rules. They want to change it to their advantage again. But the reality of it is people are seeing through this campaign.
I think anytime she opens her mouth, she looks so fake, it's ridiculous, and people pick up on that. It's hard to miss.
Did you not notice the accent she suddenly had here in Atlanta?
I did. Yes, I did.
That was funny. Suddenly, I was not aware that Kamala Harris is a Southerner.
Yes, I'm telling you, her and I are cousins.
2024, 2024 Harris.
That's right. She sounds like Brian Campbell.
The worst one.
Hard-working Georgians.
That's right. Gonna get y'all. Got Quavo out here.
The worst one is Hillary Clinton.
Oh, dude,
she was in no ways tied.
Or that Brian Kelly down at LSU. Yeah, I know that's out of politics.
But still, we want to talk about the all-time. Hey, why did you throw on that voice and try and play the game that way?
So
Brian
dumb.
Kelly, the head coach at LSU, is that's right up there with Clinton. And apparently now Kamala Harris looked at it as, if I just add a draw to everything I'm saying,
that'll convince all these ignorant Southerners. Gosh, they won't know what to do. They'll be like, she looks like me, she sounds like me, I'm voting for her.
She's going to get a bump in the youth vote. She will definitely get a bump in the youth vote.
For sure.
Well, she'll have Quavo. She's got Megan Thee Stallion, and they're playing games. Their entire campaign is actually targeted to the youth. Okay, the whole brat
They're
thing,
losing it right now, though.
Well, they're going to lose it. They're going to lose it because it's not a big enough group. Because you know what? There's a conservative side of young men and women that are moving, and they're going to be at the polls more than some of the people that I think show up to a Quavo, Megan Thee Stallion concert, because that's what they showed up for yesterday.
They didn't show up for Kamala?
No.
I mean, some of them did. I'm not saying none of them, but some of them did.
They weren't leaving in droves, but they were leaving.
Yeah. They were leaving during during her speech. The funny part was, I don't know why I decided to do this, but I watched it on the DNC's and the Democrats on their YouTube stream. And one of the things that I really started to notice was during her speech, within the first few minutes, people just getting up. The other thing I started looking at was comments. And the comments from, I love her, but she didn't give me anything. This was kind of boring. It's the same speech as she did last time we saw her. It's reiterated over and over. She's not giving us anything new. They're still probably going to vote for her because they feel that way. But just seeing the messages of the people that she didn't really relate, I don't think you're going to see that much of a push.
Well, it's an energy issue. Mm-hmm. That's the deal. All the energy is coming from the media. There's no energy behind her. And when you look at, when they'll say, look at the amount of donations. All right, Act Blue is pretty shady on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people are like, wait a minute, I wasn't aware that I made this sort of donation. It's just kind of what's going on there with the campaign finance laws. But if you were just to say, what are the polls? What is the effect? They've largely been unaffected by the fact that they've gone from Joe to Kamala.
No, because it's the same thing. It's the same policy. Nothing is going to change.
Well,
nothing but the mask or the hat, as you would describe it.
But I like Rhino bringing up the youth vote because their entire idea was that the youth vote turned out in 2022 to stem the red wave. And they think to themselves, we'll do this. The problem is the youth vote.
It's going the other way.
It is.
They've now had 4 years of, all right, you got me in 2022. You told me this was about abortion and my body and all these sort of things. Now it's, I can't afford anything.
You have to be a dumbass to believe that.
Yeah.
To buy into that.
Yeah, they go for weird and brat. Those are the two things that they know that this young group is going on right now, and that's their entire campaign.
And
Good luck
weird.
with that.
Like, you want to call J.D. Vance weird?
Yeah, that's it. That's their whole campaign.
You're marching out dudes with dresses and beards and saying they're women. Like, that's weird.
Weird and brat. That's all they have.
Morning Extra at Extra 106.3 when we continue after a Fox News update. Joe Biden has some harsh words for Kamala Harris. What did he say? Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Flounder, and The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
Well, because it's important that it's a question of a daughter getting a present from her daddy. It isn't even me that's I'm trying to even leave me out of it, how horrible it was for me, but no little daughter should ever have to go with a birthday without getting a present from her daddy.
Oh, yeah, Daddy.
Thank you very much.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. At A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. We handle bonds from local to federal for any jail in any city. And in most cases, we can have you and your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Weather's warming up, and I can't wait to get to the ranch this summer, to paint, to roam. Cool summer nights with my family, being out by the campfire. I remember when I couldn't do a lot of these things because the altitude created a constant, unbearable pain for me. My wife, Tanya, insisted that I tried Relief Factor. I didn't think it would work for me. It's a 100% drug-free daily supplement. It's supposed to help your body fight pain naturally. I mean, I went to the best doctors in the world and they couldn't help me. I didn't think this would work. Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask the pain. It reduces or even eliminates it by reducing the inflammation in your body. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joint, muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you will start to feel the difference all day, every day. I've been taking Relief Factor for years now, and it has truly changed my life. ReliefFactor.com. 800-4-RELIEF. 800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. 800-4-RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com.
Hey there, it's Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly. Summer is over, and we are in back-to-school mode. So are our friends at Steve Raymond Chevrolet. My friend Ali has an exciting announcement.
Hey, thanks, Tara. I'm Ali Khan, General Manager of Steve Raymond Chevrolet. Join us Saturday, August 9th and 10th for a back-to-school giveaway. We will have free lunch, and we will be donating backpacks stuffed with school supplies free for the first 100 families in attendance. Be sure to scan the QR code in Our Town Monthly to reserve your backpack. Walk-ins are always welcome. We cannot wait to see you there. At Steve Raymond, community is everything to us.
Wow, Ali, a number 2 pencil and a Chevy can take you anywhere. Stop in to Steve Raymond on Cobb Parkway, August 9th and 10th. Grab lunch, a backpack, and say hello from us. And remember, Our Town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
comment yet from Israel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. But Iran's supreme leader is already vowing revenge for an airstrike in his country that killed Hamas's political leader.
Ismail Haniyeh is the most senior Hamas commander to be killed since October 7th. So he was living in Qatar. He was briefly in Iran for the swearing in of the new president. And we're hearing more official confirmation this morning from Iran's Revolutionary Guard that confirmed that Haniyeh, as well as his bodyguard, were killed after a targeted strike on the home that he was staying in Tehran.
Fox's Alex Hogan. Israel had vowed to kill Hamas's leaders after the terror attack that triggered the war in Gaza. Now, Israel also vowed to retaliate for the weekend rocket attack in the Golan Heights that killed 12 children, and an airstrike in Beirut, hours before the one in Iran, killed a top Hezbollah militant commander. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says,
"We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we keep things from turning into a broader conflict."
Former President Trump posted on Truth Social overnight, "Nobody invaded anybody when he was president," adding what a different world it would be under Trump. Now, he'll rally today in Pennsylvania. His new November rival, Vice President Harris, will go there next Tuesday with her running mate, though she hasn't announced who that is yet.
This campaign is about two very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past.
That was at a Harris rally in Atlanta where the crowd chanted, "Lock him up," as the vice president again urged former President Trump to debate her. At the Paris Olympics, the men and women's triathlon is on. The day after it was postponed because of poor water and quality in the Sun River. The day after, the U.S. women's gymnastics team won gold, led by Simone Biles, whose 8 career Olympic medals are the most ever for an American gymnast. America's listening to Fox.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
This is Tucker Carlson, and you're listening to the Morning Extra with Tug, Rhino, and Los on Extra 106.3.
Oh, my Lord, I just realized that I forgot to go out there and get a Zero FG. It's Wednesday, and I need something to power through, and I forgot to go get one. So I guess
good
I'll have
news.
to wait till
Interns,
go.
Oh, no, we're out of interns. Wait, there's 17 of them down the hall.
No, look.
Maybe we could.
Look. Goey.
He
He went and got himself one, and he's giving. That's selfless right there. That's a selfless man.
I'm going to pass that on and go get him one.
I love that.
Because at this point, I'm kind of feeling like maybe one every 2 hours is a good idea.
One every 2 hours?
Well, I mean, we're talking about powering through, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, is it?
I'm not saying one an hour.
Well, just still, I mean, that's
at that point we would always we'd be heading to the restroom constantly. And nobody would be able to get a word in edgewise with any one of us. It'd be
like the Micro Machines man. They used to talk so fast on those commercials. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up. Most people I probably listen to the show know what I'm talking about. But the other thing, Joe, do you have any board up go? Do you have any snacks?
Okay, I get it. I'm fat.
No.
That wasn't that.
No, I'm saying you delivered the Zero FG for me to drink. I was wondering if you had snacks too.
Do you have a steak in your backpack?
Yes. Los is always king of the snacks, though. Like yesterday, he had a great bag of chips. And
I've had it for like 3 weeks. I totally forgot. I bought that thing.
That bag of chips for 3 weeks?
Yes, I bought that.
It would never last around me for 3 weeks.
I take it back. Maybe 2 weeks. I think I bought it on the way back.
If that's better.
From Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
And just kind of forgot it was in there. I was like, I bought it, and I just never touched it.
I think Liam left some Boosie's gummy worms in my car.
I'll be back.
So we could go grab those
Seriously,
at the break.
I love snacks, though. Snacks are my favorite. Like, I don't know why but I have to really throttle myself, I guess, like try to hold back.
Sure.
Because as soon as I get home, if I, usually I guess. Anyway, point being is I love snacks. I mean, sometimes I'll just go by the pantry and grab a handful of peanuts or a handful of almonds or a handful of granola, chocolate granola.
Yeah.
I just love snacks.
Now,
they're so good.
Here was my dinner last night, speaking of snacks. I had 3 handfuls of wavy Lay's.
Okay.
I had a chocolate chip cookie.
Well.
And 3 of those Lindt chocolate balls full with yumminess.
Those things are fantastic. Have you ever had one of those, Lowe's?
No.
Can you do dark chocolate?
I mean, it's depending on how they produce it, but I normally avoid it all.
You don't
just because of the milk involved.
Yeah, sure, but I thought does dark chocolate have milk in it too?
I just expect all chocolate too.
And it may. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, it has not as much as like a milk
by the
chocolate,
way,
but I'm sure it
I
has.
fear the milk more than anything because that's the one.
Yeah.
Meat doesn't bother me. It's the milk that bothers me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, by nature, we're really all lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Some of us just way worse than others.
Way worse.
Like, I just don't
chocolate
care.
is usually dairy free. That's
okay.
All right, listen. Those
But
Lindt-
you got to be careful. I guess you got to make sure you get pure. I don't know how to tell the difference.
If you want to put me in the restroom for 3-4 hours,
no,
at a time,
I don't. I don't want to do that.
Glass
at
of
all.
milk.
I don't want to do that at all because my son he's been allergic to milk his whole life. So it's just now in the last couple of years that he's been able to eat things with milk in it and not. But he has to be really, really careful because the same way, man, it is like.
Well, I hope that 0FG treats you better than milk will treat me.
Right?
Yes, sir. Because gooey.
See, and I ignore my lactose intolerance. Like, I just pretend it's not there. Now I do the same thing as Carlos.
How do you do it when things have hit bottom?
There's nothing I can do about it.
No,
I just run
exactly.
to the
So you
bathroom
can't
and
ignore
go.
it.
What's done is done.
Yeah, what's done is done. I got to do that anyway. I mean, who cares if it's 6 more times?
Dude,
I know I've ruined my entire evening or afternoon, but
I may as well do it a handful of more times.
Yeah.
This is going to be delicious. It's worth it to me.
So I was listening to it was Michael Malice was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think I gave it like an hour's worth of time, and they started bringing up the amount of sugary, wonderful things that they will eat at times.
Like, do you remember any?
For
of
instance, one of them was they talked about when Joe Rogan was young. He's like, we would buy Frosted Flakes and then put sugar on it.
My grandma did that too.
Okay, he also talked about there's a Blizzard, not from Dairy Queen. I guess Dunkin' Donuts has their own version of it.
Yes, they do.
And he's like, it makes me sick, but I'd want it anyway.
It's so good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's like 1,500 calories of just pure sugar. And wonderful.
And last night, I did something that I don't typically do. Well, I guess it started on Sundays when I did something. I don't typically buy ice cream because I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I know that, so I just don't buy it.
That's the hardest aisle not to walk down and open one of those glass doors.
Dude, it is like moth to a flame.
I see that Breyers Reese's peanut butter cup chocolate and peanut butter ice cream, and I'm like,
oh my Lord.
Is that you, Jesus?
Oh,
yeah, that's right. Lord,
really?
are you talking to me? I feel like you're calling me toward this aisle. There's no doubt about it.
See, and that's like one of those things, you'll eat the entire thing, or at least half of it.
I'm usually... because I'll take the small bowls, those like the small saucer bowls or whatever, not the regular size bowl, but I get those and just do 1.5 scoops and I'm good. And I'm usually good. But since it's in the house, I've done that Sunday night and then I did it Monday night and then I was fine. Last night, so I skipped Tuesday. Last night I did it. And I swear I've never had an issue with dairy ever. As I'm 15 minutes after I ate, I was like, my stomach hurts so bad.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's so bad.
I know what Los and Rhino go through all of a sudden. And Jacob too. Oh my God.
It's
awful. Seriously, it feels like somebody's punching me in the stomach nonstop all the time.
Those Culver's malteds and milkshakes.
I usually don't order those. I can get around.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so good about not eating that stuff, but once in a while. But if I ever make the mistake, which I did on Sunday, I got ice cream in now.
By the way, what did you mess up because our traffic director came in here to scold us?
Maybe yesterday not hitting a few things that maybe we should
I was just curious because that doesn't happen too often during the show, and I glanced up and I'm like,
oh, somebody has done something wrong.
I was like,
I think we're okay. But no, back to my stomach hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've had that experience, and that it's just in the last
my butt.
Yeah. It never got to that point, but later today you can't ever tell how this will turn out, man.
Just go to Dairy Queen. Get yourself a real Blizzard, because whatever Dunkin' Donuts is doing that's not the right
Blended Creations, is that what they call theirs?
Get yourself a real Blizzard. Enjoy it with like Oreo cookie, and just know that at the end of the evening you will pay for it, but it'll be awesome during that time period.
Food is so sexy.
Yeah, it's just food porn on the Morning Extra. I've never had an issue with it, and then last night, man, I'm still, even this morning a little bit, my stomach's feels like somebody's been punching me, and it's turning cartwheels and things.
You think it's when we get older?
Yeah,
I mean, because I know we have a lot of people around our age, maybe a little older. It's got to be when we get older, our body just goes, you know what, that's enough of the milk thing.
I mean, I can't eat ice cream anymore.
I mean, you're 24.
Yeah. I used to eat it all the time as a kid.
It's not far off. When my lactose intolerance really kicked in was right around 21, 22, when it went into overdrive. Because I remember I was a freshman in college, and I would pour myself a glass of milk, and that was part of what I would just have before bed.
Yeah.
And then within about a year and a half, suddenly it was like, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, my wife's been lactose intolerant her whole life, and my son too. I've just never dealt with it, and now, at 47.
That's why I don't put cream in my coffee anymore.
Okay.
Because it was one of the things that was making my stomach really upset, and now I just drink black coffee because the creamers and the milk or whatever I put in it would always make my stomach really turn.
The people at Starbucks hate hearing you say that because they charge you extra for that. So.
By the way, I want you to go, as I said, to go to Dairy Queen. I want you to get yourself a peanut butter cookie dough Party Blizzard large.
Come on, man.
Yes,
which is 1,650 calories.
Good Lord. No,
wow.
Yeah,
man, I'd have to walk up and down the stairs 6 times.
Yeah.
We know that ain't happening.
That's by far the highest one.
Or month two.
Those stairs are no joke.
Yeah,
I don't think they get easier either.
No, they don't.
I thought they would get easier. By the time I get to the 3rd floor, I feel like I just need to take a nap.
Yeah, man. I'm 2 months in taking the stairs every day. And the other day, I stopped by the elevator, actually got on the elevator, and I was like, what am I doing? And I got off and went up there and went the stairs.
It's a hard habit to break, the elevator, huh?
It is. Yeah, but I've been okay with it.
Are you taking them down, too? Because I'm just doing the up thing right now.
Okay. 2 months into my up. Just going up.
I did a double pinky swear with Aaron, so I'm locked in.
You can't not do it.
Yeah.
Dude,
I didn't cheat on you with the elevator.
Yeah, stupid elevator. Oh, man.
I have to admit, I cheated on you today. Oh, my God, I'm going to kill you. I took the elevator.
Yeah, right.
I was running late.
Now, here's another thing, and I know we got to talk about things that matter. But the other day, I was debating with myself after I'd gone down the elevator, coming back up, do I need to take the stairs again? And I failed to do that. I'm like, no, once a day.
Yeah.
I'm only doing it once. I'm not doing it every time I go down and come back up,
I thought about it the other day, too, coming back and hanging out for the Braves, but...
Yeah, no, thank you. Do y'all remember when Joe Biden called out Kamala Harris? I mean, this is, and what was crazy is the fact that everything he said is pretty spot on.
When Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years in the state of California, there were 2 of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also was in a situation where she had a police department when she was there that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, have been, the police officer did something that did not give you information would exculpate your client. She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
Thank you. Goodness. I bet you could probably still Google that right now in case you wanted to.
Boy, those two factions of the establishment just hate each other, which is funny because remember, Kamala Harris was like, well, Joe Biden's the biggest racist ever.
I know, and he probably is.
They were both telling the truth.
I know, it's crazy. Isn't it funny, though, now Like, Joe would never say anything about Kamala. He's going to be, rah-rah team, even though he hates her guts. You know he hates her guts because they were going to pull the 25th on him, and she was going to lead the charge.
Sure was.
Dude, they can't stand each other. And I think that's the most fascinating thing about this whole thing that's going on in the Democrat Party is that Barack doesn't like Biden. Biden doesn't like Barack. Barack doesn't like Kamala. Kamala doesn't like Barack. I mean, you know what I mean? They all despise each other.
No, they're all going at each other. Like, about the only ones where you go, oh, they're kind of in lockstep. It's like Schumer and Pelosi, and they're the combo team that are basically looking over at the rest of them going, what are y'all all doing?
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, when you have puppet masters that put so many Indians in one space, those Indians will eventually kind of cannibalize each other. And that's what you see. This is exactly what you know what it is? It's a coup of Venezuelan proportion. That's how big this coup is by selecting a candidate for people to have to support, because that's exactly what they've done. But Joe Biden's told the truth about Kamala Harris, especially when they were running against each other. And you know what? The record speaks about Kamala Harris, and you can go online and she speaks about who she is on her own, and it's all out there. We know that part of her big thing as Attorney General was she made sure that certain prisoners were able to get the transition surgeries they needed in San Francisco.
We have that audio too, if you would like to hear it.
Absolutely. I mean, these are the kind of things that, she has talked about. We do know that she disproportionately locked up black men in that area because of low-level marijuana crimes that happen to be legal now in that state. Now, luckily, a lot of those people who really weren't doing that big of a deal now that it's legal have been kind of commuted. Their sentences have been commuted. But she is who she is.
But the story ends up being from there is that you took low-level offenders and you held on to them as long as you possibly could for state revenue.
Right. To have them work.
That's low down, man.
That is slavery.
It's modern-day slavery, yes.
Exactly what it is.
And which happens to fit her family history.
Yeah, no question about it.
Link her to that.
I want to go back to this audio we pulled for about the transition surgery, since you brought it up. And it's like, hang on, what, you're going to pay for somebody to do what while they're in jail? I don't think anybody...
That's the rights the Founding Fathers wanted you to have when you were arrested, for sure.
It's without a doubt. Now, it depends on, what crime you commit. Maybe it's a felony, you're not allowed to vote. But you are allowed to let taxpayers pay for your transitional surgery, and Kamala loves the idea.
When I was Attorney General, I learned that the California Department of Corrections, which was a client of mine, I didn't get to choose my clients.
Right, a client of the Attorney General.
A client of the Attorney General, of the Office of Attorney General, that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy in a Department of Corrections.
Does anybody believe that when you go to jail, that if you decide...
You're entitled to have...
thousands and hundreds, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of surgery?
Yeah, how did you... Now, I get it.
What did you do to deserve that exactly?
For instance, and we talked about J.D. Vance and how the leftists try to point him out as weird, but that's a guy who took the GI Bill off of his work within the Marines and then put himself into and through college and law school. All right, I get it. Service to the country, here's what you're getting. It's almost as if she's bragging about, well, I took care of prisoners.
That's right.
Because they were deserving because they were in prison.
More money to do it.
But again, it's pandering to one group that she thinks she needs. It's a youth group. It's a community, a tyrannical minority that she needs. This is why she panders to each one of these small groups everywhere she goes. That's why her message will not change from rally to rally. The fact of the matter is this. It's exactly what I have a fear of. Jeff Duncan will tell you right away, I don't agree with any of the policies. Yeah, why would you? This doesn't help most of America. In fact, such a small percentage of America, it's that ridiculous. So yes, her policies do not help most of Americans, a majority of Americans.
Jeff Duncan said he's going to vote for her.
Well, go ahead, because he's an idiot.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
he's a useful idiot.
It does nothing for American people. I'm willing to, this is Jeff Duncan talking. I'm willing to say that this doesn't help any of us, yet I'm going to vote for her.
His vote is his vote, and he's allowed to do that. But the reality of it is, how stupid is that? Why are you a leader? You're supposed to work for the people, and you're saying, well, none of this helps the people, but I'm going to vote for her because I have a bone to pick with Donald J. Trump.
Why don't we just take the whole trans issue and put it back in the box and put it back into the weirdness of society? Because it's now, when you're talking about this tiny little bit of people, and many of them are suffering from mental illness.
Yes.
And we've now popularized it into, look what I've done for these people. I was like, look what you did for a prisoner who's suffering from mental illness and used taxpayer dollars to get this thing done. At a certain point, I kind of feel like I want to be like everybody that was at good old days when the opening ceremonies were going on.
What the hell?
What the hell is that? Is that a bearded lady? I'm like, yeah, it's a dude.
Now, remember.
Are we at the circus?
Now, if you actually see the video of this, that was a man. You heard it, may have heard it through the voice, but dressed as a woman. So that was a pander to a certain group.
Oh, of course.
And that's what she's going to do. Pander to every group to buy votes.
Seems to work.
Y'all's weird.
Y'all crazy.
The hell's that?
Is that a man with lipstick on?
I believe it is.
It's like, listen.
Y'all ought to turn the TV.
I'm tolerant. I'm accepting. At the same time, I'm going to go, you weird.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get it. You might think the way I eat's weird. And I agree with you. At the same time, I see what you're wearing.
But the difference is, there never once have you come on this show and be like, this is the way I eat. You have
should
to
do it too.
You do it now.
Do it this way.
You have to.
That looks like the Last Supper. I'm about to lose my supper.
That's exactly right. When we come back, MSNBC's Joy Reid is going to be really pissed at Deputy Director of the FBI Abate. She's going to be so mad at that fella. Tell you why next on Extra 106.3.
Atlanta radio legends, proud military vets, national network experts are all on Extra 106.3.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months.
With live and local shows in the morning and afternoon, and the biggest conservative hosts in the country throughout the day. We are always here with the latest news and opinions you need.
There's no chance if the media and the Department of Justice and social media are all against you.
No traffic interruptions, no former shock jocks, just Atlanta legends you've turned to for a generation. The conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
The summer's got you thinking about hitting the road, and with back to school right around the corner, you need a vehicle built for the road and safe enough for the family. And Subaru of Gwinnett on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth has it for you. Like the 2024 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4, or the Subaru Forester, the SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where the adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com or come visit us today on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. We're Subaru of Gwinnett.
The world's biggest banks, especially those of China and Russia, have declared a full-scale attack on the U.S. dollar. They are now dumping dollars and buying record amounts of gold. So what do they know that we don't? Well, they know that our dollar is at a tipping point as the world's reserve currency. Call 800-475-2280 right now. Get 2 free reports from Kevin DeMeritt and his team at Lear Capital. De-dollarization and $3,200 gold. They are both essential reads to understand how gold can help you keep more of your hard-earned money. Since 2020, the dollar has lost 24% of its purchasing power. It's simple for the banks. Get rid of something that's losing value and replace it with something rising in value. Please do the same with Lear Capital. If you want to protect your wealth like the big banks, call the people I trust at Lear Capital. They'll send you a free report and an IRA guide and answer any question. Call them now, 800-475-2280. 800-475-2280.
Get ready for Real Talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
Stop what you're doing and listen to this. Your God-given freedoms are up for the taking, and those doing the taking are the same people who've sworn to defend your freedom. They think they can control the media, hide the truth, and force their delusions onto your family. You know what they can't take away? Self-reliance, peace of mind. Got water filtration? You should. A charged solar generator? You better. Emergency food on your shelf? Get it now from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the most trusted name in survival, and for damn good reason, too. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and save $200 on their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit. It delivers over 2,000 calories per day, plus sealed inside practically unpierceable packaging. It lasts up to 25 years. Oh, and did I mention it's delicious? Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and save $200 per kit. Includes fast and free shipping. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Align your business with other like-minded conservatives by advertising on Extra 106.3. Email sales at xtra1063.com.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. I think Neil Boards, when he's in town and he runs out of his gummies that he talks about, when he because he has a dispensary down in Florida, he could just go over off Pleasant Hill Road to the Guitar Center. He could just go over there, I think, and grab him whatever he needs. Because I don't know if y'all heard about this on Monday on Pleasant Hill Road. Dude found a whole bunch of drugs inside the standard old guitar box.
In this case, we have employees that did the exactly right thing. They'll attach business logos or business return addresses on the box.
And this one had all kinds of weed inside. This had actually all kinds of drugs. I think weed probably part of it. But, dude, the crazy thing about the story is that I've gone to that Guitar Center. I know exactly where that Guitar Center is.
Me too.
I've bought things at that Guitar Center. When they don't have it there on North Point Parkway, which is much closer to me. They're like, hey, they check on the computer and they're like, they got whatever you're looking for, a cable or a mic or whatever. They've got it down at the Guitar Center Pleasant Hill. And so I've driven down there and bought things there. And now there's all kinds of weed inside it. So it's just like a dispensary.
What a bonus.
That's right.
I know.
Neil Boards will be happy to know that if he ever gets stranded in Atlanta, that he can go to a Guitar Center and get him some weed.
I really feel like going and packing up all the things I bought from Guitar Center, bringing it back and saying, I never got any weed in any of it.
Seriously, man, how do you sign up for all the weed in there?
Yeah. Is that a program I need to get involved with?
It's a subscription model.
Subscription box?
That's right. One of the ones that the ladies always use, Stitch Fix or something like that. Or Birchbox. I think those are two that my wife have done in the past anyway. You just get the Guitar Center music and weed box.
Ah, man, that sounds great.
And it goes so hand in hand. I mean, how many...
Guitar and ganja.
Yeah, that's exactly right. How many guitar players are just big stoners? John Mayer, biggest stoner in the world and one of the greatest guitar players in the world. They seem to go hand in hand. This is actually a really good business model. I don't know why they don't explore it.
Yes, a dispensary and music center.
Exactly.
Throw a pizza place in there. I'm never leaving.
That's right. And put some beer in there, too, to wash it all down. Good Lord. I'm telling you, I don't know what the Guitar Center is waiting on.
I'll be answering people's questions on my lawn chair in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, the XLR cables. Yeah, go over here, aisle 3, right next to the marijuana.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. They come and just ask you questions, be like, hey, have you ever played the Les Paul? Dude, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you grab me a slice of that pizza, bro?
Do y'all have Fender Stratocasters? I don't know. Have any idea? But I know we got weed and beer and pizza.
Got lots of weed.
Dude, this is the way to go.
And pizza.
You have to. I mean, look, you really have to expand the brand because, with Guitar Center, they're competing with Amazon. I mean, there's all kinds of competition.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
I have been to Vegas, and I have been to a dispensary that looks like the Apple Store. Okay?
No, are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, my God, it's incredible. Like the setup that's in there. It's
Does it just does it have a stench of weed? I mean,
No. The entire place is like hospital clean. Okay? It's incredible.
I've never been in one.
Now, if you told me that they also had a pizzeria attached to it that served beer, I might stay there.
Forever. Do y'all have hotel rooms? Can I check in? Do I have to leave like Hotel California?
Man, I'm all
you
in.
can check in, you never leave.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
Bed, Bud, and Beyond.
That's right, dude. That's
there.
brilliant. Bed, Bud, and Beyond. I love it because Bed, Bath, and Beyond's gone out of business.
Yeah.
This one won't. This is the idea.
Come in, lay down. We got some food over here. Plenty of bud.
Just whoever takes our idea and makes $1 bazillion, at least give us the credit for giving you the idea. That's
There's
all we
no
ask.
way that they're ever going to allow a pizzeria that serves beer with a dispensary because, again, it would just ruin all of society.
Well,
there's got to be a limit to what is allowed.
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean...
Like, you can go to the dispensary, you get what you want, like Neil knows, and then you got to leave.
Yeah.
If you were to put beer and pizza there, I mean, it might be like whatever the greatest bar on Bourbon Street, it would like put it to shame.
You're right. Look, there's just nothing I think that could compete with it. But I mean, look, if you're looking to make $1 bazillion, that would be a place that would make $1 bazillion. I don't even know how much $1 bazillion is, but it's a lot. And you would make that much money off of this. It would be like an adult, arcade or something, or an adult fun park, It'd be like.
And it can also have arcade games.
Yes. Oh my gosh. There's the next layer, dude.
I want you to look at this video. And this is Planet 13 in Vegas.
Okay.
All right.
Is this the place you're telling me about?
Well, this is another one that they have.
Okay.
But this is a dispensary that you show up to. And if they happen to serve pizza and beer in this thing, there's no reason to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you see it, you're like, that is like a high-end.
Do they not serve food in there?
No.
That's
from
crazy.
what I understand.
That's crazy. They're missing the boat. They're missing out on
it would be
so
the end
much.
of society if they were allowed to.
No, I agree. Look, I'm not saying that's that anybody should go and partake. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I know people will.
Yeah,
and yes, you're right. It could be the end of society, but it would be it'd be a slow end to society. Ain't nobody moving fast in there. It'd be like the sloth on what was it? Was the movie The Sloth was the
Zootopia.
Zootopia, thank you. Yes, it'd be like that all the time, just 24 hours a day. But they'd be happy, smiling, giggling, fat and happy all the time. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. MSNBC's Joy Reid has to be so pissed at the Deputy Director of the FBI and Senator Kennedy because her crazy conspiracy theory, along with Mark Hamill and a couple other crazy lefty loony liberals, they just had their dreams go up in smoke yesterday when this question was asked.
Deputy Director of the FBI, is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
Is there any doubt in your mind or in the collective mind of the FBI that President Trump was shot in the ear by a bullet fired by the assassin crooks?
Senator, there is absolutely no doubt in the FBI's mind whether former President Trump was hit with a bullet and wounded in the ear. No doubt, there never has been.
Okay.
I've been part of this investigation since the very beginning, and that has never been raised.
You're sure?
Yes.
It wasn't a space laser?
No.
It wasn't a murder hornet?
Absolutely not.
It wasn't Sasquatch?
No, Senator.
It was a bullet?
It was a bullet, Senator. 100%.
Fired by crooks?
Yes, sir.
That hit President Trump in the ear and almost killed him?
100%, Senator.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up.
Glad we cleared that up. Just make sure it wasn't a Sasquatch.
He's one of my favorites.
Dude, he is. I know. There's some things he does. I'm just roll my eyes. But
it is funny.
But that one, the fact they can't say Sasquatch is kind of that's probably the funniest thing I thought that I took away. A Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
But the fact that Christopher Wray last week said, "Oh, well, we're not sure. It could have been glass." Dude, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were trying to sow that layer of question mark behind the shooting or attempted assassination of Donald Trump. They knew exactly. They were laying that out to be absorbed by Joy Reid, by Mark Hamill, and to spread. And then later on, we need to clear it up. We misspoke there. We didn't say it as directly as we should. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Within hours of that shooting and that iconic image, the entire Democrat Party, and it was led by a couple of stories where they talked about how, and the quote was, "We are effed." Like they knew this is done. This is now over with. And yet, what they've decided to do is to try and memory hole that entire iconic moment and act like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like how 1984 Orwellian is that? Hey, what you saw, it didn't actually happen.
Right. And we're going to go ahead and erase it from Google, erase it from AI, pretend it never happened, and they can try that. But Donald Trump is smarter than that, so is his campaign, and we'll continue to see these pictures being put up everywhere of him in a way that, I think a lot of people will see. I don't think anybody's really going to forget what happened that day, and I think it is important.
This sounds a little conspiratorial, but it seems like everybody's working in cooperation.
Oh, yeah, colluding.
I mean, because you got Christopher Wray saying possibility, Google erasing it all together. I'm not saying they're working together, but you could see how somebody could connect the dots.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? I think a lot of dots are going to be connected by all of this. And I think eventually all the truth, hopefully, will come out. They're very good at hiding the truth, so they may continue to hide the truth. And they'll use it's just because the American people, the people who actually run this republic, they can't handle the truth. And that's where they go with this. The fact of the matter is this. They can sit and they can pander. The left pretzels themselves in every argument. 1 minute, it wasn't. He never even really got shot. He faked it. The Secret Service is in on it. They rubbed blood on his ear. And then it was, man, I'm sorry they missed. So which is it?
Yeah, well,
which is it? Because one moment you're saying that there was obviously a shot, and we know what your true feelings are now based on your hate and your rhetoric, but you also go the other way and say that it wasn't a shot. So your own pretzel logic just tried to avoid having this topic being brought up because you know how bad it is.
Well, if you were to admit what it is, and it's the iconic moment that wins a presidency, that's why they can't even acknowledge it. They can't. It stings them way too hard for them to say this man took a bullet for his beliefs in America and what he believes he can lead America to. And you can't really argue and say, as Kamala was trying to do, well, him and J.D. Vance, they're weird. I've got to question their level of commitment to this country.
Well, but then take it a step further. KJP, she is asked, do you think that the shots happened because y'all have demonized the man like you have, calling him Hitler and end of democracy and all that, blah, 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 right? And she takes that question and turns it into something else. I'll let you listen to the transition from answer to changing the topic or narrative at the end. Listen to this.
Former President Trump did an interview where he said that maybe being called a threat to democracy was a cause of his being shot. How would the president respond to that?
What I will say is the president has always been very clear when it comes to violent political rhetoric. There is no place here in this country, in our nation for it. He's always spoken about that. He's spoken about that for the past, the past several years throughout his career. And right after the assassination attempt, the president said he even made an address in the Oval Office and talked about lowering the temperature. He talked about getting to the bottom of this, having an independent investigation, and how important it was to do just that. And I talked about Charlottesville. We saw how the president spoke against January 6th. The day that, and I remember this, the day that January 6th happened in 2021, the president was then president-elect. He was supposed to talk about the economy. He took that opportunity to denounce what happened. 2,000 people went to the Capitol. A mob went to the Capitol. Officers, law enforcement officers were harmed. Some of them lost their lives afterwards. And he condemned that. He condemned the political violence. And they were doing that because they were trying to overturn free and fair elections.
How about this? She gets asked the question, did y'all turn up the heat so much that somebody shot at the president, former president, guy running for office again, and ended up at January 6th? Man, she's getting better at her job.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I mean, dude, she was able to take what she wanted to be asked and turn it into...
It was the Magellan route, and by the time she finishes up, she's almost validating the fact that, yeah, that's why we did shoot at him.
Right.
I think it's getting better.
Our side decided to shoot at him.
You know, a good follow-up question would have been for KJP. We don't have to go back to Jan 6, 2021. Let's go to J24.
Yeah, could do
okay,
that too.
J24. Let's talk about the fact that why did Kamala Harris not condemn the violence of the pro-Palestinian groups that really went around Washington, D.C., destroying property, attacking police officers as well? Why did the media cover it up? Why were they let out 48 hours left? Why did the president, who you just said is talking about these kind of violent rhetoric, why did he not say anything that day? He had an opportunity to speak to the nation the day this was happening outside his window
and didn't
do anything to say, stop it. Stop attacking Jewish people. So now their plan is, okay, let's pretend that we actually like him. We got Josh Shapiro in the background. Let's put him in as a vice presidential candidate. Try to bring some of that group back,
That'll
too.
bring the temperature down.
There's no temperature being brought down.
No,
the fact of the matter is, the question was probably bad. That wasn't the problem. The problem was, go to the point where Joe Biden said, well, no, but here's a better question. Joe Biden said, let's put, a week before that, Donald Trump in the crosshairs, in a bullseye. I think that is what may have led to a shooting like that. But it's all the violent rhetoric against him. But you're right. The threat to democracy is fine. I would have went with the crosshairs.
Got to give her credit, though. Being able to get the question...
I'm surprised she was allowed
and being able to twist it into where you wanted to go. It's only taken her 3.5 years.
Well, perfect spin doctor.
Yeah, that's right. It's only taken her 3.5 years, but she's getting better at it. We just happen to be able to see through it. You do, too. That's why you're listening to Extra 106.3, and we appreciate it. 404-741-1230. 7 o'clock hour brought to you by Van Sant Law. When you're in an accident, make the right call. It's vansantlaw.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, July 31st. 34-year-old Sean Patrick Cirillo pleaded guilty to threatening to kill U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and her staff. Cirillo was arrested in November after he called the Congresswoman Greene's congressional office in Washington, D.C. and said, I got a beat on her like a sniper rifle, and I'm going to kill her next week. A federal magistrate judge noted in November that Cirillo had a mental illness and was not taking his medication. He faces up to 5 years in prison. Vice President Harris hosted thousands of supporters at a rally last night in downtown Atlanta. According to the Harris campaign, it was the biggest Democratic rally of the campaign cycle to date. The event also included performances from hip-hop stars Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo. Harris was joined by U.S. Senators John Ossoff, Raphael Warnock, and two-time gubernatorial loser Stacey Abrams speaking at the rally. And in sports, Jared Kelenic hit a home run and a double, and Austin Riley went 4 for 5 as the Braves beat the Milwaukee Brewers 5-1 last night. Bryce Elder carried a shutout right up into the 7th inning, allowing only 1 run and striking out 7 in the win. The Braves will close out their series with the Braves this afternoon at 2:10 p.m. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the Braves. As always, you can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Can I read y'all an email that I just got?
Please.
I have tended to listen to 95.5, and I've recently stumbled on your show at 106.3. Very impressed. Y'all are hitting the issues dead on like no other station, and I like it. And he goes on and on and on. Thank you. His name is Brian. Brian, welcome to Extra 106.3 in the Morning Extra.
Yeah, welcome, Brian. Good to have you, Brian.
We appreciate you taking the time to reach out, Brian. And just like you, we care about the country. We care about what's happening. And we're going to continue to talk about the issues that you point out in your email that aren't getting covered anywhere else. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. When we come back, the biggest podcast in the world is taking notice of the same things that you and I are leading up to this November election. Next on Extra 106.3.
Politics get heated, but should never become violent. With so many questions about what happens next, trust the conservative voice of Atlanta for the latest news and the voices you need during such an uncertain time in America.
The images of Washington, D.C. just being defaced, seeing the American flag burned. When I saw the American flag pulled down and the Palestinian flag hoisted up, I was so furious. I don't care what these clowns believe because I think they're on the wrong side of history. History will prove that. But to see them deface everything in Washington, D.C. was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It wasn't the stepping over democracy. Look, if the Democrats want to screw their own voters, unfortunately, they can do that. If their voters are fine with that. But the things that happened in D.C. were unacceptable to me.
Proud to be Atlanta's conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now is a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after the sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal. Self-employed in 2021, you may be entitled to up to $32,220 in COVID tax relief. At smartSETC.com, our ex-IRS auditors leverage credentialed knowledge to help you understand your claim with no upfront costs. Don't miss out on this opportunity to maximize the claim you're entitled to. Take our short eligibility quiz at smartSETC.com now. That's smartSETC.com.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Election coverage is more than polls and numbers. It's about what matters in your life and your community. And Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station cares about your community, your voice, and most importantly, your vote. So keep it all here for the latest and download the Extra 106.3 app and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
I see
Los on the Morning Extra.
You want me to do another 2 hours? You pay me double.
That's right.
I don't know why it just struck me so funny.
That was good.
We're talking about it being a Wednesday, and Tug talking about being a little bit scatterbrained, and I go get the second 0FG of the morning, and Rhino just flat out says, "Why don't we just tell them we're done after 8 o'clock? We're done.
Yeah. We're just gonna repeat the first 2 hours. It was so good.
You're on your own now. Right. We've done what we can.
That's all I can
this
do.
morning.
I've given all I can.
We've given you all we could.
Oh, that's funny.
It's so good and so true. It feels that way this morning.
Welcome, Bruce.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, sorry, Brian. Bruce, Brian.
Bruce.
Whomever you are.
That's it. Tug's all over the place, so
I'm
thank you,
telling
Bruce.
you. Like, I was reading Bruce's email about how he's made the migration from the 100-year-old station over to Extra 106.3. He's just so complimentary. And I called him Brian.
Yeah.
For no reason whatsoever. Brian's not in his email address. It's not in his, his ending salutations or anything. Nothing. It says Bruce.
That's why Tug's going to quit when we hit 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, I'm done for today.
We're done for the day.
Bruce
Thank you.
Brian for no reason. Los accused me of not being able to read, and he may be right.
Yeah.
He may be on to something.
Yeah. I got an email from Brian, and he said, "Stop laughing, you annoy me, but do love the show."
That's right.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, if he wants me to stop laughing, then he's
Not you,
alone.
me.
Oh, well, if he wants you to stop laughing,
Yeah.
I don't want any of us to stop laughing.
Right.
Because can you imagine if we didn't get to laugh occasionally?
As we watch as the Republic falls
Just
apart.
falls.
That's how we keep our sanity.
It's the truth, man. It is so true. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Well, then you had to do that.
That's fine. You know what? Brian will replace my laugh with that one.
That's exactly right. Good. And there's people that go, yep, that's who I'm voting for. That's the person that I think will lead the country in the right direction. She sounds like the Wicked Witch of the West. That cackle.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's no bad news about her. I mean, if you do a Google search, there's no bad news about her. Same way with Joe Biden. I said this yesterday. If you notice how like they were just all in, Joe's got to go, questioning everything about Joe Biden. He steps aside after being forced, steps aside, and then this just goes quiet. It's crickets. Same way now that Kamala is the head of the ticket. No one is writing a negative word about her. Joe Rogan even noticed it.
Everybody forever was like, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president. She's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden she's our solution. She's our hero. Everybody's with her. All these social media posts about her. Try Googling a negative story on her. You won't find one.
They've been doing this live for years. So in 2019, our pal Tulsi absolutely nuked her in that second debate. And if you looked at charts at the time, she's kind of, Officer Harris is like doing okay. First, the bitch comes out, Joe Biden, you're a racist. The Democrats were looking for an alternative to Bernie Sanders that wasn't Biden. She starts going up in the polls, right? Second debate comes out, Tulsi, being a good Hawaiian, knows how to roast the pig, just completely slams her. Not only that, she has no counterpunch. She goes on Anderson Cooper and she's like, well, I'm a top tier candidate, so of course people are going to take shots at me. That's her answer. She immediately starts going down in the polls. It's that day. You can see it on the chart I have on my Twitter. All the articles at the time that did an autopsy on Kamala Harris's failed campaign didn't mention Tulsi once.
Yeah.
It was BBC, LA Times, Reuters, New Yorker. A guy from the Washington Post just did a piece looking back on her campaign, didn't mention Tulsi either.
Wild?
They completely pretend it didn't happen.
They go on to talk about how great Tulsi Gabbard is, and they like her, and that's fine. I don't. I'm not a Tulsi fan. I don't hate her. She just isn't my candidate.
That's, by the way, that's Michael Malice, if you don't know, a podcaster, anarchist, pretty much, put it this way. He ain't a friend of conservatives. He ain't a friend of liberals either.
Right.
Okay, so Michael Malice pretty much calls it the way he sees it. But I thought what was interesting when you listened to that podcast and when they got into it and what we're seeing now, have you noticed that Kamala Harris does not take questions?
Oh, yeah.
Why
Because
would she?
if she had to answer something,
She's going to be like a merry-go-round.
it plummets. Yeah. Everything plummets with her. And that's what Michael Malice is basically pointing out. Is that Tulsi Gabbard put it on her, and she couldn't answer the question.
I'm the front runner. That's why they're taking shots at me. That's all you got.
No, they have a template right now of what they're doing, okay? We saw it last week in Wisconsin. The path to the White House goes through Wisconsin. Last night, the path to the White House goes through Atlanta. Next week it'll be the path to blah, blah, blah.
Right. Or where insert city that I'm standing in.
Then it's, I was an AG and a prosecutor, and, well, I know criminals when I see them, and Donald Trump, I know exactly who you are. Same exact speech. It's going to be repeated over time after time after time, because you're right. She can't answer questions about a record she doesn't have. She can't answer about, hey, all these people voted for me to be your candidate. She can't do that because no one's voted for her. So when Donald Trump can go up and go, hey, you know what? I won this by winning Nevada by 95%. I won New Hampshire in record amounts. I won this primary. She has none of that. She has no record. But I find it really interesting. I love that fact. It's true. Nobody liked Kamala Harris. No one voted for Kamala Harris. And all of a sudden, now that she's pandering to small groups, which are such a small percentage, if you add them up, it's not even 3% of America that feels that way. They all love her, but the media's behind it.
Why? And here's one of the things to always look at. When we look at the fact that Kamala Harris was going to get access to the $250 million the Democrat Party had reached under Biden-Harris, why was that so important? Because Kamala Harris, by all the reports that are out there in terms of how they're having to pay for influencers and pay for crowds, like that is out there. When you start looking into some of the stuff that's going on as far as bonuses for people showing up, obviously concert tickets, things along those lines, they are essentially padding the visual with money.
Yep.
That she can't turn out people by her own.
It works.
It works.
Absolutely. All the scenes you're going to see today are a packed house at State Farm Arena.
It's convincing. But I'm telling you, that especially on social media. I told y'all last night, my own son asked me, he was like, what do you think about Kamala's surge in the polls? I'm like, buddy.
What surge?
What surge? And he was like, what do you mean? I see it everywhere. Everybody's all of a sudden a fan of Kamala. And I was like, realize that you're being influenced to see that.
Yes.
That is the narrative. That's what they want to paint.
You're being told.
You're being told what to believe. And if they say it enough, it works.
The reality is people went to a Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo concert last night, and Kamala Harris just happened to be there for 10 minutes.
And what did we say? You could put us at a Dunkin' Donuts, we'll do okay. You put us at a concert, suddenly, oh, look at all these thousands of people that showed up to see us.
To see us. The description of what happened in Butler, PA from the acting director of the Secret Service was lacking on all levels. That discussion after a Neil Bortz report, the Fox News Update.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
No secret that I am not a fan of government education, and even less of a fan of teachers' unions, the most powerful unions in Washington and in California, it turns out. Let me tell you some of the things that are mandated thanks to teachers' unions in California. You must teach these to the students. It's an 800-page outline on sex education, where you must teach the students that children as young as kindergarten have identified as transgender, and that biological sex is completely divorced from gender identity. Gotta teach it. In ethnic studies courses, you must tell the students about the oppressive forces of capitalism, patriarchy, and settler colonialism. What about mathematics? Just last year, California schools implemented a new mathematics framework where, in teaching math, you have to include lessons on whiteness and social justice. And you have to use discovery learning, where students on their own discover their way into long division and algebraic equations. Critical race theory, a must. But should you teach students how letters sound? Oh, hell no. A bill in the legislature wanted to push phonics to teach children how to read. The NAACP in favor of it. Local level PTAs said, let's do this. Research back to the 1950s shows that phonics is the best way to teach students to read. But here comes the California Teachers Union. They didn't want a statewide top-down mandate to teach phonics. The bill requiring it was killed in the legislature. Government schools, you can't beat them. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the Podcast Park. See you around, Atlanta.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
A Hamas leader taken out in Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Months after Israel had vowed to kill Hamas leaders for the October terror attack that triggered the war in Gaza.
The political leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, is dead. The Israelis have not yet taken credit for the strike, but are, of course, likely behind it. We're still gathering details, but we know that Haniyeh was staying in a guest house in the Iranian capital when it was hit by a missile.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. In Iran, there are protests with chants of death to Israel. Iran's supreme leader vows revenge that Israel will face a harsh punishment. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says despite what happened, he's still focused on
getting to the ceasefire, which is manifestly in the interests of the hostages and bringing them home. It's manifestly in the interests of Palestinians who are suffering terribly every single day.
The Hamas leader's death comes hours after an Israeli strike in Lebanon killed a Hezbollah commander following the weekend rocket attack in the Golan Heights that killed 12 children. Now, the former president may react to all that at a rally today.
Former President Donald Trump returning to Pennsylvania for the first time since an assassin tried to take his life.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson.
Now, Donald Trump will begin his day in Chicago and will be interviewed by journalists, including our own Harris Faulkner, before going to Pennsylvania State Capitol.
Now, he'll be at a National Association of Black Journalists convention. A Washington Post columnist stepped down as a co-chair because of the Trump appearance, opposing giving a platform to the former president. That's a lock him up anti-Trump chant at a Harris rally in Georgia.
So in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
The vice president, the presumptive Democratic nominee, will hold a rally in Pennsylvania next week with her running mate, though we still don't know who that is yet. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Search for the Extra 106.3 app wherever you download apps by searching XTRA 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. I tell you, after not a slow start, the show's been fine, but we just all have, it's Wednesday, man. We're just powering through. Sometimes it's tough on a Wednesday to, you're hitting the slope of the work week down toward the weekend, and we all got loaded up on Zero FG, and Rhino's got his racetrack coffee, and my golly, we're going now. We've hit our full stride here at 8.
Yeah, you guys get the bubbly version. You guys have like champagne. I just go straight motor fuel.
That's right. You just give motor oil.
Yeah.
Just give me a bottle of motor oil.
That's the fun thing. Like, not a huge fan of Starbucks. Nothing against Starbucks at all. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Okay.
You're right. For a cup of coffee.
You're absolutely
stupid.
right. I think Dennis Leary, one of the funniest things I ever heard is all I want is coffee flavored coffee. Enough Starbucks.
Right,
Give me coffee flavored coffee. But that's who I could wring a sock out with coffee grinds in it and be happy with dirt. I like the muddiest, most people are like, dude, that's don't drink that. It's disgusting. I'm like, no, that's great.
It's strong enough to walk over to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go get it. It comes to you.
Yeah.
That's the way to go right there. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life, so I don't know what it's like. I've tried tasting it a handful of times, and it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
But
my son loves coffee at 14, and it's like one of those things that I'm like, dude,
I've seen that more and more.
Yeah. And my thought process, because I was told all my life that, coffee stunts your growth if you drink it too young.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, look at me. I never drank coffee when I was young. I don't think that's the reason.
Liars.
But my son loves it. And, my ex was probably the one who gave it to him first and let him sip it. And now he's like, I like coffee. And I'm like, wait, what's the difference? He doesn't drink any soda whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Is the caffeine really that big of a deal in coffee? So it's really, I guess not. But there's a stigma against giving a 14-year-old coffee, no?
I think it's going away with the emergence of Starbucks and places like that because I see so many young teenage girls drinking it. Mm-hmm. Now I think it's just cultural more than it is they need. I mean, I guess you get addicted to the caffeine after a while, but those have you run into your girls like coffee at all?
They like the drinks outside of that. So for instance, not straight coffee, but they'll get or
latte,
caramel latte, stuff like
macchiato.
that. Yeah, the stuff where I look at it and I go, "You're ordering it because I don't know how to pronounce that."
Right.
Is it coffee based? Those drinks are coffee based?
Yes.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know enough about coffee or anything.
Do you drink
they
coffee?
No.
I see.
I've had a sip of coffee in my life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. I've only had a sip.
By the way, I find it funny that they talk about coffee stunting your growth or weightlifting too early stunting your growth when the primary cause of stunting growth outside of thyroid issues is malnutrition. I guess if you just happen to drink a lot of coffee and that's all you do,
Maybe you get malnutrition that way.
Yeah, Mom and Dad, what'd you do to me?
Yeah,
they didn't feed you.
But you know what else they'll lie to you about?
That's true. That's why me and my brother cook so much.
Maybe.
I blame them.
The other lie that they will tell you, whoever they are, the other lie, I mean outright dirty, low down, stinking lie, is that your hair comes from your mother's side of the family. That is a freaking lie.
Is it?
That is a lie like no other that I've ever heard.
Old wives' tale.
That's got to be because my grandfather, my mama's daddy. I mean, his hair was so. I mean, when we put that man in the casket, his hair was so thick.
I mean, afro.
Dude, it was like Brillo pad thick.
Yeah,
and he kept it really short. But I mean, it's as thick as you've ever seen in your whole life. And my daddy's daddy looked just like my daddy and looked just like me.
Telling you, it's a genetic mix.
Yeah.
I don't know where this whole thing started with, what it would be, just like your mom's dad or your mom's side of the family.
Liars.
My mom's mother was very thinning. My grandfather was also bald, so for me that was real.
Either side.
But I was told I have too much testosterone, which
they always default to that to try to make you feel better.
Yeah. Like saying
devils.
you're not fat, you're just big boned. That's like the equivalent to you got too much testosterone.
You wear husky jeans.
Well, it's like my oldest daughter has hair more like mine, and it's in between my wife and I in terms of it's not black like mine, it's not auburnish like my wife's. It's more like my hair, but it's kind of like a dirty blondish kind of brown, right? Then there's my younger daughter who totally has my wife's hair. they have two different completely sets of hair.
Yeah.
So you don't tell me about like, well, it's only mom's grandfather. I'm like, no, I can tell you they're a mix of both of us.
See, I thought it was from wearing like, I played hockey almost all my life, so I always had a helmet there. I always had a helmet when I was playing baseball.
Ball caps, they tell you it's because you wear ball caps. I don't believe that either.
You don't believe that?
Lies.
I blame the yarmulke, because if you look at the yarmulke where it sits on my head when I go to temple, that's where I lost my hair first.
Fix it for me. Because I never worn one. I wouldn't even know how to put it on or how to keep it on.
Well, there is the whole idea of the stimulation of the scalp, that at some point the scalp as a piece of skin starts to just kind of go dead.
You got to massage it or something.
Well,
is that what you mean?
I mean, I don't know. They have the weird caps and the weird nutritional products and stuff like that.
The Magneto helmet.
How do I get one of those? Do they work?
I don't think so. I've never seen.
What about the laser beam combs? Have you seen those in the airplane magazine?
That stimulate the follicle growth.
Yeah, that's what they say.
We should try
do that for 1 year. You're gonna look like Fabio.
Listen,
and the whole top of your head looks like bacon.
I don't know if I really want hair. I don't know if I want it, but
he's like,
but see, I am the same way. Like, I'm okay being bald because I do have a good head. You have a good head.
I don't.
Y'all have quality heads.
Brian Hoyt, our former coworker, examined my head one time and told me I didn't.
Well, he's just a troll.
He does that to gain advantage over you.
But I will be honest, that Fabio thing, it has reality. Like, when I went to go talk to one of these companies that were going to endorse and put hair on my head, I started having dreams. Like I was Fabio. I was like shaking my hair, it was blowing in the wind, and I was like, yes. And then just to be disappointed like that.
I've dreaded losing my hair since I was 14. 14 years old is the first time it entered my mind.
Wow.
My wife went gray at 14.
What?
Yeah, like her family, her dad's side has early onset of gray, and so she has had to. Now she had to keep track of what her hair color is to be like okay, because she started going gray when she was like 13 or 14 years old.
Now gray, I think gray is sexy, like
me too.
like especially like in a younger or has a streak like that.
Like Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah,
dude, she's.
But I mean, isn't hers from like extreme stress?
Right.
Maybe I don't know. I don't have any idea.
My wife's was just from. My dad gave this to me, and I'm going gray at like 14 years old.
Now, would she ever like embrace it now? Because it is kind of a cool thing.
I think maybe down the road. I mean, now that we're in our 40s, getting gray hair is just kind of part of it.
It's part of the deal.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
But when she was 16, 17, 18, 20, it's like, I don't want to have this crazy
person off of
gray.
X-Man.
Yeah.
the person off of X-Man.
You know what I'm talking about?
I love when you talk about this Rogue.
Yes,
he's
her
thinking
name
about
is
Rogue.
Rogue.
The person off of X-Man.
Anna Paquin played her, and she had Anna Paquin. So
Anna Paquin,
it got to a really bad point
Halle
because
Berry.
she actually turns into a very
Storm.
that exactly. She turns into a very powerful phoenix actually and creature, but part of her is the first stripe shows her evolution into the next mutant.
Yeah, like I don't know
mutation.
Like I didn't know that. Come on, of course. That
I don't even know where to have him
stripe.
start. Like he could go back to movies 20 years ago and start with like the original X-Men movies, but then he'd be so confused.
He would
that there's a different universe that's going on within Marvel.
Yeah. So I want to go back to malnutrition only for a minute because Slatoon is calling in because when he came to the United States, he was. You correct me if I'm wrong.
He was like 4'8". Now he's like 6 foot.
Okay, close.
Okay,
5'7", and now he's 6'3" by coming to the United States. Did I get the figures correct, Slatoon?
Yes, because of war, we didn't have much food, and we ate stuff that humans are supposed to eat, kind of part. But anyway, so I came to America in 1996. I was shoe size 9.5, and now I'm wearing size 14. And then I got introduced to McDonald's and no other fast food. I went from 100 pounds to 300 pounds in 1 year.
Wow.
And
that's not good.
I was fat kid. I went to high school over here.
Yeah.
And then my growth just started coming up, and I had to change shoes every couple of months because my feet are just getting bigger and bigger. And I didn't stop growing until I was 26.
Wow. So what's that? Wait, how old were you when you got here, Slatoon?
I was 17, about to be 18.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, because you're still in your good growth years here. I mean, you don't.
But even then, you're starting to slow down.
But that's that malnutrition, and then his body got what it needed.
Buddy, have you been able to reel in that McDonald's thing?
Oh, dude, I used to eat about 6 to 7, double cheeseburgers at dinner.
Good Lord.
Sodas and all other stuff. I mean, I was just, that's one thing I promised myself when I came to America. I was like, I'm never going to go hungry ever again.
Amen. Right. No, I'm with you. I understand that part of it. I think it's amazing.
God bless you, man.
You know what? I'm behind you. Story, dude. It is.
I'm glad you lost the weight.
Yeah, and so tell us, give me your measurements now.
Whoa, dude.
Well, now I'm 6'3", and I'm about 300 pounds. Dot bod kind of.
I love it. Okay, all right.
I love it,
dude. That's awesome.
You're a real American now.
Amen to that.
But to think that man's body, he's a 9.5 shoe, and at that age, like 17, you're like, hey, I'm probably done growing, and his body got actual nutrition, and suddenly went to a size 14.
Good Lord. I mean, he could play college football. At 6'3"?
Yeah.
I mean, he could play. I mean, seriously.
300 pounds?
For
He's
sure.
a lineman right there.
He could play at Georgia, man.
But that's the deal. Like, malnutrition, it's coffee. No, it's like malnutrition will keep you from growing.
No doubt, man.
Lack of sleep and malnutrition.
Slatoon, thank you so much for...
Keep eating the Nuckies hoagies.
Yeah.
Slow down on the McDonald's.
Right.
Go do the Nuckies hoagie.
The Nucky hoagie will take care of you.
Hit the vegetable aisle at Kroger or something.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Wish that worked for me. I eat a bunch. I stopped growing when I was 13.
I know. Look, you and I are sitting here listening to this story, and we're like, hold on. He started at 7. We've been eating like, real American food for our entire lives, and yet we both stopped growing.
Well, y'all both took part in the SAD diet, the standard American diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It did what it did. I'm sorry, Joe.
I don't know, but I mean,
But that dude said he ate McDonald's almost every day and grew.
Yeah.
I eat McDonald's every day too.
But look where he came from. He'd been starving.
Yeah, that's fair.
For a long time.
His body's like, whoa.
He's
like
such
a plant finally getting water.
No kidding. He's such a fascinating story. Just anytime he calls in, I'm so fascinated by his perspective.
Yeah.
Because he sees things that maybe we don't, and because we're blinded by just our own experience or inexperience with the things that he and his family and the folks around him have done.
But I think that's also where your naval experience comes into play. Like, you've seen real poverty. For me, outside of like some trips to the Caribbean, not like you have.
Dude.
But it is amazing to see people who came to this country in the correct manner, became a citizen. That he is more proud to be a citizen than some of our own citizens.
So awesome. Like, it gives me, that really does give me a little bit of a goosebumps.
It does.
Just because you're like, this dude actually appreciates what the grand idea of America is. Now, behind Joe Biden, we're trending in the wrong direction. But the idea of what America is supposed to be, and I think it's so awesome.
And think about where he ends up politically in his mind of what do we need to do to keep it the way this republic the way it is. He was able to come here, do it correctly, has an appreciation for this country, and yet kind of sides more towards the Donald Trump side and the conservative American people side, which I think is just brilliant. And most of the ones that do come here legally feel this way, and I love that.
Me too. That's
why I love being a party of love.
It is encouraging, for sure. And welcome to Call Anytime. Thank you so much, Latoon. And anybody else, too. Love your engagement. Love when people reach out on social media.
Yeah, tell us about your feet growing.
Yeah, maybe that. Or any other ideas that you might have.
Send Joe a picture of your feet.
Jeez, that's weird, dude. That's just a weird request.
No shoes or socks, by the way.
Smirk over there. He's so happy.
Yeah, dude, no, he's
yes,
not.
Rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he likes, if you still have stuff stuck between your toes, he likes those kind of photos, too.
Joe's like, send me your feet pics.
Feet pics.
I need it.
Yuck.
I like to diagnose different funguses.
Oh, my God. That's so gross. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. Yesterday, the acting director Rowe, he said what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. He said that was a lack of imagination. What? A lack of imagination?
You don't need to imagine anything.
What kind of imagination do you need to see the building directly in front of the president would be a place that someone wanting to kill the president would go to get it done? What kind of imagination do you possibly need?
Maybe he was imagining it wasn't a slope roof.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it's just more, I think you come out of that going, you don't need to be the acting Secret Service director. You need to be pushed out just like everybody else. We need to tear this thing down to the studs and build it back up, or get rid of it altogether, go to a private entity instead of the Secret Service. And that's not a slander at Secret Service agents, because I believe they did the best that they could with the circumstances and the hands they were dealt. And they knew, or they probably didn't know, maybe they did, the email that has been deleted that they talked about in that hearing yesterday that said the Secret Service only does CYA when they have messes like this and you can expect another assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. I think the actual guys on the ground, much like the military is built up, the people in the Pentagon are leftist political hacks, and everybody below them is in a situation where they're trying their best to make this work. But a lack of imagination is the dumbest answer in Secret Service history.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculous answer, really. I mean, like, would our military be like, yeah, well, we could have won that battle. We just had a lack of imagination. No, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You know where you're supposed to be at all times. If you're told to be on a corner, you stay on the corner. You don't move from there. This is a ridiculous way for the man to get in. Now, in fairness, they did what they needed to do. It took a little bit too long, but they got rid of Kim Cheadle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We know that a lot of the agents were probably doing what they were supposed to do. The problem comes from the top down, and that's exactly what this is. This guy's in a tough spot, but all he did was tell us what we already knew, that you were not prepared. It was a complete failure. You should have done a better job, but the lack of imagination, what a joke.
Don't you think, though, working for Kim Cheadle, he must have had similar beliefs or must still have similar beliefs and ideas.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Because, I mean, you don't get hired into that position without the person above you knowing everything about you and probably aligning values and ideas. It's like when a new coach gets hired, they bring in their own staff.
I thought Buck Sexton yesterday said it really well in the opening hour. He talked about when he worked with the CIA, how so many of these departments feel that they're bulletproof, they're amazing, and that people will insulate to protect them as quickly as possible. And I got that impression, like you talked about, you bring in your own staff. But they all have the same mindset, which is, well, we're infallible, and we'll always protect the brand no matter what. You know, it's
like the NFL a little bit to protect the shield.
Yeah,
that mentality.
There was an aspect of not one of them was ever going to say, wow, we monumentally screwed the pooch here.
But in that email that got deleted,
which was out there,
that's exactly what was said.
But
it's nothing but a CYA.
But personnel realizes there's problems. Within the top. Right. The higher ups are sitting back there. They're defending the shield.
They have a pretty big crew. You know, protecting 33 different people. They have a large crew, and it's not as large as the FBI or anyone else we're funding, but there's enough to try to get this in control, and it's out of control right now.
Whew. What a sad state of affairs for the United States of America to find itself in. And if we elect Kamala Harris, you get more of the same. You get more of this nonsense. The more questions asked of the Secret Service, we'll continue this conversation because the more questions we have for them. Next on Extra 106.3, and then the Trump ad that he's released, pinning the border czar title on Kamala Harris, because we all know whether she had the title, whether that's an official title or not, she was definitely in charge of the border.
Extra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you unedited news, information, and updates. With an all-star lineup of local and network voices, Extra is committed to being the station you need during the biggest election of our lifetime.
This presidential election is unlike any other.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3 FM, and listen across Georgia on the Extra app.
Well, Stephen, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
Why?
Well, we ran your background check and there were several red flags.
Like what?
You were arrested 7 times for reckless driving.
So?
So you're applying for the school's bus driver position.
If you're in charge of hiring for your company, you know how helpful a background screening can be. That's why companies that use Horizon background screening make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com. Horizonscreening.com.
Marketing is everywhere.
From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Shooting drills. A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve, but one who genuinely cares about each player You have what it takes. We got this. can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, founder of Rough Greens. Rough Greens is not dog food, but because dog food is dead food, it needs to be supplemented with live, powerful nutrition. Go ahead, take a bowl of your dog's kibble and put it on a shelf and see what happens after 2 to 3 years. You know what happens? Nothing. No mold, no bacteria, nothing happens. Because you know why? There's nothing alive in it. Dogs need live nutrition, which is why I formulated Rough Greens with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega oils, and so much more to help your dog with all of their health issues. I'm so confident that Rough Greens will help. My dogs and I will send you a free Jumpstart trial bag so your dog can try it before you buy it. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve their health. Just sprinkle on a little Rough Greens. They'll love it, and it's an easy and smart way to get your dog feeling better and living longer. A free Jumpstart trial bag can be yours. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com.
Does your friend listen to an old station whose news gives them the blues? Set your friend right. Tell him to download the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. I want to bring up something that is probably the closest to our former coworker, Hudson Mason, because he was best friends with Philip Lutzenkirchen. Hudson. Everybody loves Hudson, though. You can't not love Hudson Mason.
Was it wrong that I compared him to Hodor?
No.
Hodor?
So Hodor from Game of Thrones, where all he can say is hold the door,
yes.
Hodor.
Yeah.
And I said, wouldn't it be awesome if Hudson could only say his name, but his inflection would be based on how excited or sad he was? So, Hudson.
Very similar to Groot or Hodor.
I love it. No, I think it's great, and yes, it'd be better if I knew the character. But now that you've said it and you showed it to me, I remember you showing me the video, so I kind of know what you mean.
Hudson.
Like
Hudson.
Rhino. You can do it with anything.
Yeah. It's just different with the H name.
No, it is. It is, absolutely, because it goes along with Hodor. But the reason I bring it up, the Lutzy 43 Foundation celebrating 10 years with their annual 5K road race at 8 a.m. this Saturday, August 3rd at Lassiter High School. That's where Hudson and Philip graduated from.
Hudson, run!
Yeah. Hudson! Like when he's close to the finish line.
Hudson. When he passes you on the track.
He's all tired.
Hudson.
And he's breathing heavy.
Gets across the line.
It's so good. You can register right there in person. Find out more about the event and the information at lutzy43.org. LUTZIE43.org. He played at Auburn University, played at Lassiter High School. He passed away in a tragic car accident in 2014. And we have a connection to this, a family that we are dear friends with. Philip was so good to their daughter, who's now on the U.S. Paralympic teams playing in Paris now. They just have this wonderful relationship with him. And I never met him, but I knew of him through them, and then have met Philip's dad a bunch of times over the years. And so this is really a special thing to a lot of people in this area.
Oh, yeah, really nice family.
Such a great family, and they've really done a lot to just get kids to think before they drink and drive, before they text and drive, because they've actually added that into their mission statement now. It's just distracted driving, whether drinking or, God forbid, drugs or whatever.
Or put the phone down.
Put the phone down, but that is a focus of them. And if you want to know more about it, it is LUTZIE, LUTZIE 43.org, and you can sign up for that race. It's 7 a.m. on Saturday, LUTZIE43.org for more information.
I wish I didn't have plans already. I was looking forward to running that.
I knew, yeah, seriously. Rhino out there running.
I would do it. I like 5Ks.
I don't.
I don't like running though. I've done like 3 5Ks, and that was enough.
We've got, I think I've done 3 in my life. 3, and
I ran it, and I was proud.
Oh, I think I ran. Yeah, more walked.
So when Hudson wins this race, what is he going to yell when he crosses the finish line?
Hudson! Just celebrating himself,
ripping his shirt off,
like Hulk Hogan style.
Yeah.
Does he have a Trump?
He's got a Trump Vance shirt underneath it,
right? But just like the RNC.
Actually, no. It's just a shirt that says Hudson. It's just tighter.
It has the same logo. It just says Hudson. Yeah, tighter. It's a medium.
Yes, either that
it's
or
just really tight across his chest. Hudson.
He's got the 2 times
spelt wrong.
He's got the 2 times
backwards S.
Like written in crayon.
Oh, he's going to be so mad at us.
Because he's the greatest guy in the world. And now it took a big old fancy schmancy job with Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, he did.
And he's got like, I think there's only 6 of him in the entire Chick-fil-A company. He's got one of 6 jobs. I mean, that's more elite than a baseball manager or an NFL coach.
You think he hands over some of that Chick-fil-A sauce and be like, Hudson?
Maybe. Can you even write it? It looks like a 2.
That's what his business card says.
It looks like a 2. The S looks like a 2. Written in crayon. Yes. Oh, my Lord. God. Dude,
it's good to meet you, sir. What's your name?
Now I need to go to the 5K just to see him there.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'll be there. I would be. It would surprise me beyond belief.
I hope he brings out that wonderful little family of his.
Dude, his sweet wife and 2 baby girls, man. Gosh. Just one of the greatest guys of all time, Hudson Mason. But because he was so shielded, and we talked about this before, he was so shielded as a child. They didn't have cable in the house. Y'all think I have a black hole of movies and stuff? Dude, he has a black hole lifetime.
Hudson's family looked at anything that was cable-oriented as
the devil!
It was the devil.
Yeah.
And so there's so many things that you bring up, and he's had to, in his adult life, kind of catch up to it. Be like, oh, okay, now I've seen that, now I've seen that.
Yeah, he's had to really go back.
Because all he knew was Passion of the Christ up until...
That's exactly
much
right.
it, yeah.
Jim Caviezel. He knew about Jim Caviezel.
That's about it,
That's the dude who played Jesus. I know that.
I know
Yes, he knew the whole movie word for word.
That's right. Yeah.
They had it on VHS tape and just watched it over and over.
Facing the Giants.
They had closed circuit television in his house.
That's right.
It's the only thing that would show up on his TV no matter what channel he changed.
Yeah. Now he's taking the cable out of his house and they're watching The Chosen. That's all they watch.
All right, good.
I don't know that. I don't know that to be true. Just continuing the tradition there at the Mason household. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. Go out there, really, though. LUTZIE Foundation is so good. LUTZIE 42, LUTZIE 43.org. LUTZIE 43.org. So let's maybe continue a little bit because we didn't get a lot of time with the whole Senate hearing yesterday with the acting director of the Secret Service, Rowe, and then Deputy FBI Director Bate. There's some of the things that they talked about and some of the things they brought up or conveniently left out was really, really jarring. You couldn't help but go, I feel like y'all are not leveling with me. And this is under oath. This is something that you do like with the possibility, not that it would happen, but the possibility of somebody going to jail if they say the wrong thing. And dude, it didn't seem like they were forthcoming at all.
No, one of the things when we were texting back and forth was nothing's coming out of this. This is like almost a big waste of time, and we're not really getting any new information. And I felt a lot of people felt that way. But part of the thing I also got from that, we've talked about it before, is that they are not helping themselves, because I think more people are asking way more questions, and now there might be a different motive to it. And I think a lot of the senators that were involved in this yesterday in this hearing were thinking, hold on one second, why would we not think that there might be a problem with inside our agencies with the lack of information you're giving us, with the lack of knowledge that you have for your own job, and the lack of ability to get into this man's phone? But I thought Ted Cruz started it off right. He came out, all the GOP senators came out to kind of speak about what they heard, because they're very concerned about an assassination attempt on a former president. Here's what Ted Cruz had to say.
She should have resigned the day of this shooting. She did not. She should have been fired the day of this shooting. She was not. Acting Director Rowe at least acknowledged that their failure to secure the roof from where the shooter fired was indefensible. That being said, he continued the pattern we have seen from the Biden administration of stonewalling in this hearing. In the immediate wake of the shooting, the Secret Service official spokesperson sent out a tweet saying, "The Trump team never asked for additional security. We never denied them additional security. In fact, we gave them additional security." We now know that tweet is a lie.
I mean, the whole thing's a lie. Why would people not question what really happened that
And
day?
as a matter of fact, the acting director, much like his former boss in Kim Cheadle, are both part of the people who decided not to give Donald Trump the extra security that he asked for and requested.
If there was ever a moment where you question your government, yesterday didn't help at all.
It's one of those things where you just look at it and you go, I want to believe the best. Like I think it's ingrained in us as human. That's just our human nature.
Yeah, from the top down, we are the greatest country in the world from top down. That's what we're believing or told to believe our entire lives.
Dude,
or at least want to believe.
But to rise to a certain level of distinction, you would imagine excellence has to be tied into that.
Somewhere.
And you start to find out it's not.
No.
When he said, I haven't slept in 17 days wondering how this happened. I don't believe that for 1 second. He knows how it happened. He knows every detail that was not handled. He knows every I that wasn't dotted, every T that wasn't crossed, intentionally or not. I mean, it's up to you how what you think, because you could look at it and go either way.
Yeah, and remember, okay, you got to give him a little bit of leeway maybe, because, now he's been elevated to this position. But at the same time, they didn't just go out to McDonald's like they did the first one and grab him from security at McDonald's and bring him in. He's been in this system. He knows
has the same belief systems as Cheadle did.
Same belief systems, and probably has a lot of the same knowledge, especially now, of what Cheadle did, which doesn't seem to be much. I'll tell you who surprised me yesterday, because they had some really good senators come out to talk about this, including ones that knew a lot about their former military experience and what they saw and what they would have done as snipers and where they would have been. But Mike Lee, he's the senator out of Utah. Boy, he got me with this one. I mean, and such a well-spoken man, and came out and delivered this. And this is where a lot of American people are starting to have doubts about whether or not this was planned.
Nobody wants to believe the worst, to suspect the worst about what happens within government. But when they lie to us repeatedly, then when they refuse to answer the most basic questions, when they almost willfully decline to take any of the most basic precautions in order to protect the president, the former president, and I hope the next president of the United States, one has to wonder. Remember, King David didn't personally kill Uriah the Hittite, but he let him go out into a battlefield where he knew there was an imminent risk of grave bodily injury, and he made sure he didn't have adequate protection. We've got to get to the bottom of these questions to make sure that Donald Trump was not intended to be a Uriah the Hittite.
That's why the acting director is not able to sleep, because he's worried about covering his own backside. Yeah. That's why he can't sleep, and that's what that deleted email that we've discussed on the show and that got brought up during the hearing, that's what it addressed too, that it's all a CYA.
I'm not saying that I hired the assassin.
Right.
All right. What I am saying is,
I left the back door open for him.
I did.
It's unlocked.
That's the way it feels. So much of everything that continues to come out as far as the timing aspect of this, what different people knew, the fact that they weren't all in the same comms, there were so many little issues that were little league oriented stuff for real professionals that they left the back door open for. If something happens, we're going to have trouble with it. And they need it to happen.
And I think a lot of Americans were thinking exactly what Mike Lee said. And I love that he used that example about, hey, this isn't the first time in history, because history does, it's cyclical in a lot of ways. And this is one of those things where you learn from history. So I think a lot of people are saying, yeah, why would they make sure that the, First Lady had more and better protection than this man? And those are questions that were going to be asked, and they couldn't give a good straight answer on any of it.
This is not conspiratorial, because I thought about it. If we were watching a television show and within 2 or 3 episodes there's a debate, one guy looks like he's not able to function, then within a few days another one gets shot at, then within another episode, very next episode, they replace the president. It's like you would not buy it. You would say would never happen in government. Okay, the reason why Joe Biden is not running is because that sniper missed.
Mm-hmm. That's the only reason.
King David let Hittite go into battle knowing that he was going to then have an adulterous affair with his wife. So that's kind of setting you the backstory of what's happening and why he used that example. It's the Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3.
They let Trump head on off to campaign knowing that protection was not adequate.
And then they lie to you and say, hey, you know what? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 100 minutes, we know.
And know that their side, because we've seen this with Kavanaugh, we've seen this with Steve Scalise, we've now seen this with Donald Trump. Their side's more than willing to shoot at people.
Going back one more, you're right. Going back one more thing about believing the best, right? Mm-hmm. If you recall, when we came in here, the Monday following, so it would have been the 15th, I guess.
Yeah.
We all were so reserved, like, let's not jump to conclusions. And the two people, the two young people on the show were like, government did it.
Yeah.
We had that
You're
same
right.
intention of let's let it play out. Let's be level-headed. I know what it feels like, especially with all the craziness going on. And yet, it turns out that the kids were right on this one.
Yeah,
or at least it feels like it.
Yeah, he's just a kid dealing with problems, 20 years old, blah, 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 doesn't really have a history on social media, and then it's like, well, we can't even get into his phone to get to the social media. It's so well encrypted, it's blah, blah, blah. And by the way, Iran did offer to, had a plot to kill President Trump. These are the kind of questions that lead to this kind of thought.
No, but this is somebody, as we're finding out more data from their social media, that was very interested in politics from high school on, and that politics became, I'm going to take out the competition.
Yeah. Well, he's become an anarchist in a lot of ways, like an Antifa member. I mean, that's a lot of the thought pattern. It's that's why he had pictures of different politicians from both sides of the party. But the reality of it is, it's a far left group.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, July 31st. 34-year-old Sean Patrick Cirillo pleaded guilty to threatening to kill U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and her staff. Cirillo was arrested in November after he called the Congresswoman's congressional office in Washington, D.C. and said, I got a bead on her like a sniper rifle, and I'm going to kill her next week. I am going to murder her. I'll kill you too if you want. You're going to die. Your family's going to die. A federal magistrate judge noted in November that Cirillo had a mental illness and was not taking his medication. He faces up to 5 years in in prison. Vice President Harris hosted thousands of supporters at her concert last night in downtown Atlanta. According to the Harris campaign, it was the biggest Democratic rally of the campaign cycle to date. The concert also included performances from hip-hop stars Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo. Harris was joined by U.S. Senators John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock and two-time gubernatorial loser Stacey Abrams. In sports, Jared Kelenic hit a home run and a double, and Austin Riley went 4 for 5 as the Braves beat the Milwaukee Brewers 5-1 last night. Bryce Elder carried a shutout into the 7th inning, allowing only 1 run and striking out 7 in the win. The Braves will close out their series with the Brewers this afternoon at 2:10. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Kamala Harris wants you to know what she's going after very first when she is elected. If. It's a big ol' if she is elected. You'll want to know the answer to that question. Next on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10 a.m. The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
We should be presenters. Yes, I'm a presenter on 106.3. I got to present you with it here. I got something for you right here.
Like Monty Python does. You walk by with the camera like this, and then you come back the other side and do this.
Turn the other way. Now let's look at the news.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
The Braves are making back to school a little bit brighter this August with 10 days of amazing giveaways. There's a gate giveaway every day of the first homestand when the Miami Marlins and Milwaukee Brewers come to town, August 1st through the 8th. Like the Ronald Acuna Jr. 41 home runs bobblehead presented by Napa, Kids batting gloves, Outcast bobblehead, Spencer Strider vinyl record giveaway and post-game band performances, and many more.
And that's drilled high in the air to deep right field. Marsh gonna go to the wall. We have liftoff. A 3-run home run by Kelenic.
And then come on back for even more giveaways, August 20th through the 25th, as the Braves battle the Phillies and the Nats, including the Chick-fil-A cow bobblehead, Ozzy Albies and his dog Poochie bobblehead presented by NextGuard, and the Kids Authentic City Connect socks. Visit Braves.com/promos to see all of the giveaways and to purchase your tickets today. Atlanta Braves Baseball, we are Braves Country.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now is a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after-the-sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Bronies, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
Miss any of the show? No sweat. Grab your Extra 106.3 app and listen to show replays whenever you want. Download the Extra app now for Apple and Android by searching for XTRA 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230. At Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. At Tug Coward, at Rhino Extra 106.3, at Front Office Los, and for Board Op, Joe Tom Virgin, at Joe Tom Virgin. So, Kamala, she wants to make it clear, I think, that she does not care for specifically one of the amendments. And she says she's coming right after it, Los.
Let the lady continue to talk. I talked about the Dan Crenshaw podcast from 2 days ago where he had Frank Luntz and he also had Kristen Soltis Anderson, professional pollsters that talked about how the more she talks, the more she answers questions, the more it hurts her numbers. It's been that way since she caught on to the national scene. You also had from the Joe Rogan podcast, Rogan and Michael Malice talking about when she gets out in front of people, that's when things go badly for her. Again, this is not people that have any kind of association to Donald Trump or conservatism or the Republican Party. It's like, it's just professionals looking at things professionally. All right. We talk about letting her talk. Take a listen to, this goes back now a couple of years, when Kamala was bringing up, if she was in charge, what's one of the first things she's looking to do? It's get your guns.
Adding to your gun control agenda? Yeah, I think it's a great idea. But I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
An executive action to curtail any sort of gun sales or gun control goes completely against the Constitution.
And it will be, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. She's not going to be able to do it.
She's calling on Congress because she can't count on Congress to go against the Constitution, is what she meant to say. I can't count on them to uphold the United States Constitution, to uphold what makes us a republic, to uphold what makes us the greatest country in the world. There's only one reason why she wants to sign an executive order in the first 100 days, and also what she says is a buyback program. You know, and someone called into the camera and I thought she was so funny. She said, a buyback? They never, when did they buy the gun in the first place? Like, you know, they never gave us this. It's mine. But that's what they want. They want to buy back every gun and make it mandatory. Not voluntary. A mandatory gun buyback and then a ban on all weapons. Yeah, good luck.
Remember, these are the same people that nearly 20 years ago, because they looked at your vehicle as being such a threat to the environment, gave you cash for clunkers. And it was a boondoggle. It was a mess. It did not
What,
have
a government
the results.
program not work?
Imagine that. So strange.
Crazy. I'm surprised you even brought that up.
So her next idea, their next idea, turns to, well, we'll just do a buyback program on guns. Like, well, what if I don't want to sell it back to you?
Well, you don't have a choice.
Well, we'll make it mandatory.
It's mandatory, just like our shot rollout.
And goes right. It would never pass muster at any level of the courts outside of maybe some local San Francisco court.
Yeah, and you know the eventually the Supreme Court, but again, look at everything that they are saying they want to do. They're not talking about the economy, they're not talking about fixing the sovereignty of this nation and protecting the American people. What they're talking about is the opposite of that, taking away your rights. You want to talk about a threat to the Constitution, a threat to democracy, really a threat to the Republic? It's the Democrats, and Carlos has been 100% with this. Let them continue to tell you exactly what they want to do.
Let her talk.
Lean in. Listen.
Let her talk.
Put your hand over your like Bugs Bunny.
But the scary part, Carlos, is if they get the House, if they do get the Senate, and she happens to pull this out, which I don't think is going to happen,
But it could.
Then your gun rights, they will be knocking on your door. Whether or not you give them back, that's a different story.
Mine are in a
But
lake somewhere. I took every one of them I had on a boat trip and lost them all.
See, this is the ridiculous aspect of it.
Every one of them, gone.
You could give them every level of government, and it's still unconstitutional.
No, yeah, it still didn't stop the fact.
But you would have them attempt to do these sort of... It's why it's always been piecemeal. It's always been, well, we'll do automatic rifles. Well, I mean, nobody really was running around with an automatic. Well, semi-automatic handguns. Well, semi-automatic, and they always keep moving the goalposts. And then what is it? They just call it all assault weapons. Can you describe an assault weapon to me? I don't believe that you can. Again, we don't have to do any ads saying Kamala Harris plans to take your guns. No. Just play her audio.
Play it.
That's it.
That's all you have to do with almost every single topic you want to talk about. You want to talk about the border? You could play her ideas on migration. You could play everything. The fear is, and again, there is a step to every process they're doing. There's a reason Biden called for Supreme Court overhaul, term limits, and all the other things. Once they get the Supreme Court and they control the judicial and the executive and the legislative branch, they can mandatorily come, sign an executive order, knock on your door, and ask for it. And the Constitution goes out the window if they control all three branches, which is why he's calling for what he is today.
But good luck when you get to the door of
that's
some
the worst case.
dude in freaking, let's say Bartow County, or let's say Whitfield County, let's say Gordon
Cherokee County,
Cherokee County,
Forsyth
Fannin County. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Find the door that you're going to knock on.
I'll tell you what, even in Fulton County, in a lot of areas, they're going to say, hey, you're not going to take away my right to defend my family against what you've allowed to happen in this city.
If I was running for office against Rhino, then what I would have to do is say, Rhino wants to end Social Security for you. He wants to take away your pay. Now, Rhino has never said any such thing. Nope. But that's what I would have to do in order to disparage, because that's their game plan.
And throw in Project 2025 that I'm fully behind with 900 pages.
But you do not have to do any of that with Kamala Harris. You just have to ask her or play her audio. That's it. She's already told you these things that are distinctly un-American and are wildly unpopular. You don't have to create the Kamala Harris. And I was like, no, she already told you what she's going to do, and it's all bad.
Yeah. I find it impossible to believe that she's going to be able to do any of this, even if they win it all. There's just
but the fact that
a way for it to get it. No, the fact that she'll try. Not
even
she'll
try. The fact that she would, every politician in D.C. knows you can't talk about reform of Social Security. You just can't. Buddy Carter flat out told us, it's the
they told
third
us
rail.
not to do it.
He's like, we can't talk about it.
Which is the reason you should, buddy.
Dan Crenshaw, listening to the podcast, talked about it, you can't talk about it. The Democrats know they cannot talk about it. This woman brings up factors of things you should not talk about, and does it because she's pandering to a very small California liberal group. It will not sell to the rest of the country. Let her words bury herself.
Yeah, she's pandering to New York and California. That's it. And most of America is in the middle of all of that going, hold on, those are the two craziest people you could actually go with. The problem
so crazy,
is, though,
they're leaving the crazies.
But in reality, I mean, I know this is all unconstitutional. I know that, there's a chance that, none of this will ever happen, and that's a good chance because I think our Constitution will always hold strong and the people will always hold strong. But remember, again, if they did happen to win this win those,
absolutely.
You don't think she's going to change the Supreme Court the day she comes in as well? So,
absolutely.
They are going to try to take this republic, throw that Constitution out, burn it like they do the flag, and hope to change fundamentally the entire way this republic is.
That was what Obama's words were, to fundamentally change it.
Let's say she has a 1% chance of all these things aligning. You still don't say it.
Right.
You can't be elected. That's my entire point. You're saying things that do not elect you. The minute you bring up, as a national politician, reparations, when 1% of this country
many times
owns slaves.
So now you got to beat her to the punch and get them on every commercial.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. After the dust settles, what will happen? I think I know the answer at the Secret Service, and I will tell you next.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
No secret that I am not a fan of government education, and even less of a fan of teachers' unions, the most powerful unions in Washington and in California, it turns out. Let me tell you some of the things that are mandated thanks to teachers' unions in California. You must teach these to the students. It's an 800-page outline on sex education, where you must teach the students that children as young as kindergarten have identified as transgender, and that biological sex is completely divorced from gender identity. Gotta teach it. In ethnic studies courses, you must tell the students about the oppressive forces of capitalism, patriarchy, and settler colonialism. What about mathematics? Just last year, California schools implemented a new mathematics framework where, in teaching math, you have to include lessons on whiteness and social justice. And you have to use discovery learning, where students on their own discover their way into long division and algebraic equations. Critical race theory, a must. But should you teach students how letters sound? Oh, hell no. A bill in the legislature wanted to push phonics to teach children how to read. The NAACP in favor of it. Local level PTAs said, let's do this. Research back to the 1950s shows that phonics is the best way to teach students to read. But here comes the California Teachers Union. They didn't want a statewide, top-down mandate to teach phonics. The bill requiring it was killed in the legislature. Government schools, you can't beat them. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
The summer's got you thinking about hitting the road, and with back to school right around the corner, you need a vehicle built for the road and safe enough for the family. And Subaru of Gwinnett on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth has it for you. Like the 2024 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4, or the Subaru Forester, the SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where the adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com or come visit us today on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. We're Subaru of Gwinnett.
Shame on you, you freaking media. Like all of a sudden this is a surprise. You didn't know that he was, mentally screwed up or anything? Shame on you.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Israel faces a harsh punishment. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Iran's Ayatollah vows after a missile strike in Tehran killed Hamas's political leader, Ismail Haniyeh.
The supreme leader saying this morning, quote, following this bitter, tragic incident which has taken place within the borders of the Islamic Republic, it is our duty to take revenge.
Fox's Trey Stalzer reports from Tel Aviv. Haniyeh was the lead negotiator for Hamas in talks trying to end the war in Gaza.
Ceasefire talks are basically off the table. And I do want to just quickly read you a statement from the Qatari Prime Minister, the man who has been responsible for a lot of the negotiations taking place. He asks one question here, and it's an important question in all of this. He says, how can mediation succeed when one party assassinates the negotiator on the other side?
Israel's not commented yet. Hours earlier, it launched a strike in Lebanon, killing a top Hezbollah commander days after the rocket attack in the Golan Heights that killed 12 children. Former President Trump will rally today in Pennsylvania after telling Fox if Vice President Harris is elected, foreign leaders will walk all over her.
She'll be so easy for them.
she'll be like a play toy. They look at her and they say, we can't believe we got so lucky.
Well, the vice president at a rally in Atlanta that featured a lock him up anti-Trump chant answered Republican criticism she's failed as a so-called border czar with record illegal immigration. She says as a prosecutor in California, she went after gangs and drug cartels and human traffickers.
Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been talking a big game about securing our border, but he does not walk the walk.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz reports.
A key deadline passed Tuesday with no other candidate qualifying for the Democratic presidential nomination. Delegates are expected to vote virtually Thursday to officially make Harris the party nominee.
Now, next Tuesday, Vice President Harris will rally in Pennsylvania with her running mate, though she still has not announced who that is. America's listening to Fox News.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Hey, it's your old pal Neil Bortz. I'm back on Atlanta's only conservative news talk station, Extra 106.3. Okay, here's more of the Morning Extra.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here. You've heard about droopy face, and some women are even reporting droopy boobs if you take Ozempic. Well, now...
Oh, no.
Yes.
Another Ozempic topic. I'm so excited.
Well, it's kind of.
Oh, no, come on. Let's
this just kind of getting you to the fact that Lululemon has pulled their new line of breeze-through leggings because they're claiming, people that have worn them, the women who wear them, claims it gives them long butt.
Long butt?
That's what is being reported.
Is it because it's not propping it up or not holding it?
I guess it, but they pulled it because it's giving them long butt, and these things are like $100. Leggings have a V-shaped back seam which rises above the seat all the way to the lower back, and it's not flattering. It's actually making women's backsides look long and flat and not.
Hold on.
That's not the reason they pay $100 for it, is to have long butt.
Why do they care at all? Because aren't we supposed to accept a woman no matter what she looks like? Why are they so focused on making it shapely and beautiful?
That's what ugly women say.
That's what Kamala Harris said.
That's what they all say on that side. Lululemon and all that.
That's what all those women with the pink hair who you're trying to rape me always say.
Yeah.
No, so this apparently is a stitching issue.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
no.
right. Yeah. $98. These things are $98.
Those TikTok ones that all the girls wear that make their butts look perfect. I don't know what they're called. Those things are great.
Butt?
Are they called perfect butt? Oh, whatever those. I mean, there went that phase where they look kind of like thermal underwear and gray, and they make that butt look.
They have
just
like
perfect.
a stitch right in the crack.
Right in the butt crack.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're perfect. I'll show you plenty of pictures.
I have them all favorited. Yeah. I can get to them easily.
And I don't care what shape you're in, no matter what, your butt looks good in those.
So the folks at Lululemon said they're going to reconsider the design. Quote, "We have made decisions to pause sales for now and make any adjustments necessary to deliver the best possible product experience." So it just goes against everything. All of those things that you just said,
silly.
like all the Democrat talking points, all the crazy lefty loony talking points, they're all bullcrap, and Lululemon just proved it.
I know that Clay Travis talks about being a free speech and boob absolutionist. It's like, I'm absolutely 100% on board with both of these. I'm that way with the yoga pant.
Yep.
Even women who shouldn't wear the yoga pant, I still say, good for you for wearing the yoga pant. Because the yoga pant is an outstanding invention that makes so many of y'all look 100%.
Great. But I'll be honest, I mean, on the same thing, a size 12 yoga pant makes you look fat.
Oh,
because you know
yeah.
why?
It tells
accentuates.
the truth.
It accentuates.
I think it just tells the truth.
Right.
The yoga
Absolutely.
pant tells the truth.
Yeah, you know, when people, the reason I look fat is because I'm fat.
Yeah, same.
Now, no matter what I wear, I'm still going to look fat. Nothing's going to make me look skinnier. I guess if I wore spandex.
You should wear
Spanx,
like really, really tight clothing.
like
all the
Spanx.
time.
Unfortunately, I have to because I used to not weigh this much, and I don't want to pay for new clothing.
That's right. No, right now everything's just so tight.
Everyone's like, that is medium? No, I'm like, no, that's a medium.
Yeah, medium.
I love reading these articles one after another about the dreaded
The long
long
butt.
butt.
Dude,
that
I'm
like
telling
women
you.
are like, did you just give me long butt?
Yeah. How could you do that to me?
And I get it.
paid you $100 to give me long butt.
The stitching is supposed to accentuate it. It's supposed to make sure everything is held in place.
Look at long butt.
That is a failure.
That if it's not holding everything in place, then you end up with long butt. And if I'm spending $100, I don't want long butt, I guess.
Whoa.
What we've got
I don't
here
have safety on this thing.
is a failure. That is what Lululemon is facing today. Long butt. And anybody who says they don't want their butt to look good is lying to you. Any woman that says they don't want to look good in the yoga pant and people to look at them and notice that they look good in the yoga pant is lying to you. Now, they can get on TV and pretend and they can throw their hands to their side and how could you sexualize women and all this whatever nonsense. It's
Okay,
all
so
bullcrap. It's all bullcrap.
I'm looking on this, on all the pictures of all these different leggings.
Yeah.
And on all of these mannequins that are shaped appropriately and anatomically correct, I don't see long butt. So what I'm going with is not the leggings that make you have long butt. It's the fact that you actually have a ugly long butt.
Well, you're buying the pants
to overcome
pretend.
that. To overcome that. Yeah, to pretend.
That's why you're buying them.
Yeah,
you're
no,
buying
that's
them for them to boost you. And if
make
it's
you
not
look
boosting you, then
and make you look a particular way.
Right.
Yeah. And to be
it's the same thing with the right type of bra. It's going to have a certain presentation to it, and that's where you're buying it for.
right. No,
I
all
did
that's
3
true.
squats this week. I still have long butt. Like,
That's right.
sorry, you
And
have
I
long
paid
butt.
$100.
And the fact that you paid $98 for these things, that's just dumb.
But dude, usually the line at Lululemon and Avalon and Alpharetta is like a mile long, man.
Of course.
That place is full. That's the I bet
Because they're hoping not to show their long butt.
Well, right. They want to get away from it. And that's why Lululemon is pulling these off the racks quick because long butt has become
Their
such an
stock
issue.
has fallen 50% this year and an 18% drop this month because of long butt.
Now, what's the equivalent on the dude side of long butt? Is there an equivalent like dad bod, I guess, or big belly, beer belly? What's the equivalent?
When do you buy a shirt to make your belly look smaller?
I've never
Exactly.
I've never done that.
No,
I know they exist.
But it
I've
happens.
seen them on social media. I've seen them on infomercials.
My friend Hoyt, who used to be our coworker, he had his Manx.
Yeah.
Is the joke around about him.
Right.
And so when
Spanx?
Yeah, when he had to dress up, he would buy the shirt that would basically restrict the belly,
the appearance.
And so then whenever he wore anything that was like a suit or anything along those lines, he would look much more trim in that.
So he got a corset.
Yes, of course.
It's a man corset.
He did.
Yeah.
Why are
you gay? yes. But he freely admits it. He's like, I got my Manx on, which is also why he got on Ozempic and he dropped the 25 pounds.
So
is he off of it now?
Ozempic?
No, he's hooked.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
think
saw
he's
him in
locked
an
in now.
alley the other day, stabbing himself in the butt with an Ozempic needle.
Over and over and over
Yeah, it's
again?
been a really sad
It's like
story.
OD that we talked
Hoyt's
about
fallen far.
Has he?
Sad, yeah.
He's just sitting there. He's like,
Doing
I need
Ozempic in
my
alleys.
Oz.
Yeah.
Give me the Oz.
Scratching. Yep. Yeah. It's a sad story.
Like Tyro Biggles.
I can't. They're going to do the True Hollywood Story on it.
The Brian
the Fall
Hoyt.
of Grace.
Yeah, Brian
God.
Hoyt.
He's one of the best, too, in the business, man.
No doubt about
So
it, man.
sad.
Good Lord. So
Using Ozempic in alleys.
the difference is at Lululemon, somebody's going to be held accountable for this, right? Somebody will. There will be.
The guy who decided apparently the V stitch that
Is
makes
not.
it go all the way to your upper back.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
Which I don't know why you're wearing them that high anyway.
But can you imagine that just they'll be like, nah, it's fine. You know, I know you're costing us a boatload of money and our stock's down and we're getting all this bad press. But that's fine. No worries. That's never going to happen. Not in a for-profit business. Yet the Secret Service, they will do nothing. I expect no changes at the Secret Service. Zero. Now, will they do the song and dance that, after this hearing, we're going to put all of our thoughts together and we're going to be
we'll have a focus group.
That's right. And we'll write a report and we'll have it to you in 60 to 90 days, if ever. It'll never be brought up again. It'll just go like dust in the wind.
So, considering that we've had Donald Trump hit in the head with a bullet and nothing will happen, well, it's par for the course. I mean, we drone striked a family of like 10 in Afghanistan, killed them all, and then what did they end up saying? We had some troubles with the chain of command. Did anybody get punished for it? No. Not at all. Not on anyone's record. No one had to account for it. It's just business as usual, and that's what's going to happen with this as well.
The only person that has been fired from the Biden administration that I know of, well, I guess now two, Kimberly Cheadle.
Yeah. Well,
resigned. That's so she could not say, so she could say she didn't get fired. She decided she chose the route for her. Is the Sam Britton dude. The dude that stole the women's luggage. That's the only person.
I've been thieving luggage. They're getting me out of here.
But that was after he stole again. Because the first time they didn't fire him.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't keep going down. It's the same story. Listen.
The first time.
The media doesn't care. The media doesn't. This is only for us.
They want to brush it under the rug.
The story on CNN, it's not there. There's nothing on it. In fact, you'll get more about an Iranian terrorist who was killed and assassinated and all the things behind that. What's behind that? Who is Ismail? Let's talk about that. But not one story will be about why is the U.S. Secret Service such a mess right now? Why is nobody being held accountable? Why is there no account? Why are we not investigating that? But instead, we're going to play this game, and that's what this is. They don't have to be accountable to anyone except for Republicans and the people they tried to assassinate. That's it. And they don't care to tell the truth. They're going to hide it. Again, they're going to tell you this is for the best. This is for the protection of the American people. They can't know everything that happened that day.
You brought up CNN, and I'm glad you did. Guess where that Lululemon story came from?
CNN. Yeah, it's up here.
Secret Service?
No, there's not one story about that. Of course, we got the say it to my face. Harris calls out Trump during Atlanta rally. We got plenty of Olympic coverage, tons of that. I don't see it. Boar's Head's going to recall 7 million more pounds of meat products. Carrie Lake, all the way down here at the bottom, will win GOP Senate primary. Internet's in love with South Korea's Brexit.
So I'm saying. Secret Service testimony?
Consumers are rejecting $6 iced coffee at Starbucks. Why Americans are stubbing McDonald's and Starbucks.
Because they can't afford it, fools.
That's the deep analysis CNN's got for you.
And Lululemon.
Hold on. Also, REI just took off half off over 100 Patagonian pieces. That's a big story going on right now.
If you link to it from CNN, they get $1 or $2. So as many people that can buy, please do.
Ooh, dozen portable chargers that are the best for your phone. And still have not seen anything on the U.S. Secret Service and what's going on to protect. Because you know what? You should be protecting Kamala Harris. You should be protecting Joe Biden. You should be protecting RFK Jr., Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and whoever she chooses as her VP running mate. Those are the people that should be concerned about what's going on right now. Yet we don't have any story in any other mainstream media about this.
And you won't, because they want it to go away just as much as the Secret Service wants it to go away. What? This is not useful to them, Lowe's.
No, and anything that happens to pump up Donald Trump or make it all of us, including Trump, versus them, they don't want any part of that.
No, of course they don't.
The federal government is as rotten as it gets. And the reason why Trump does have the popularity he does and the movement does have the energy it does is because it's very much an us versus them mentality.
And they're the media wing, and they're the communications wing for the Democrats.
And again, he's the Republican nominee. Man, there are so many Republicans that hate him too.
Yeah,
and so that's why all of this is being memory holds. Like by the time we get to October, and you say something about a Trump assassination attempt, people are going to be like, "Oh man, that was." Did that really happen?
Or that feels like that was 10 years ago.
Hold on.
That's what they're going to do.
I'm going to go into AI. No, it says it's fictitious. It's a fictitious event.
Snopes has already told me that it happened.
Yeah, by the way,
Kamala Harris.
And they'll quote Christopher Wray.
Oh, yeah.
And to think when Mark Zuckerberg was like, well, that's like the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life, to see Donald Trump back up on stage and pump his fist and say to fight. And you thought for 1 minute when he said, well, I'm not committing the money that I did to the last election to this one. You think for 1 minute he's worried about that when he's going to use Meta AI to tell you what's right and what's wrong and what actually happened and what didn't?
Yeah. Dude, absolutely. AI is only going to be able to regurgitate what is put into it. So if leftist nonsense is what makes up the base of the AI computer, then leftist nonsense is what it's going to spit out.
Well, the media should be covering all of this and holding them account, but they won't.
No, they won't because they agree with it.
No, because what they're going to do is pander for a party. They're going to pander for the Democrat Party the way the mainstream media is. Here's their biggest story in politics, which I find hysterical. Biden is now calling on Congress and agencies to take action aimed at curbing the flow of fentanyl into this country. After 200,000 people, over 200,000 people now, have died from the flow of fentanyl. After we passed an H.R. 2 that would have secured the border, fought the cartels, and taken care of this, a long time ago, that you allowed. This is the kind of pandering that the news is going to do. They're not going to stick to the things that we really need to be talking about right now. Are our candidates safe? Should we be attending any kind of rally? Should they really be upping security? What are we going to do to protect all of the candidates that are involved in this year's election?
And it's kind of like you would hope that there would be somebody that at one of these news outlets that even if they disagree with it, would be able to be honest and tell the truth. Like the NPR whistleblower. Whatever happened to that guy? You know what I mean? The guy that was in the newsroom is like, dude, everything we push is nothing more than leftist propaganda for the most part. And he's like, I even agree with it, but I know it's wrong. We can't
and
just
how quick did they turn on him?
Dude, like a viper.
You got to go. You told the truth.
He's like, look, I agree with everything they wrote.
But there should be some balance.
Fire him now.
He has got to go. And
bring in someone more progressive. We can't allow this to go this way.
And that's why you see Lululemon stories instead of the Secret Service story on CNN's website and probably in their broadcast. I mean, it should be unnerving. It should be jarring to the majority of Americans. But I contend that majority of Americans don't even realize it. Now, I think it's the opening up, the freedom of speech platform known as Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, that is eroding away the foundation of that trust, the foundation of that grasp that the media has, and that's why they hate it. And Logie brought that up a million times. That was the biggest death nail. That's why they hate Elon Musk. That's why they turned on him like a pit viper the same way. So that's eroding, but it's not going to be for a few more years that people finally see the light.
Well, your media, your social media as well. Just how dirty, how scandalous, how slanted it is. I went over to Google Gemini. So this is their AI.
There we go.
And I asked, was Donald Trump shot? It basically told me that it could not respond to me and that, I should probably do a Google search. Then I asked it a different question. What is a fish? A fish is an aquatic gill-bearing vertebrate animal with fins. While it's a general definition, the world of fish is incredibly diverse. There are over 34,000 known species, ranging from tiny guppies to massive whale sharks. But it can't tell me
if Donald Trump got shot. Which just happened, on the 13th. Ever how many days ago that's been? 19 days, 20 days, whatever it is.
Was Donald Trump shot? Your answer from Gemini, I can't help with that right now. I'm trying to be as accurate as possible, but I can make mistakes sometimes.
What do you mean as accurate as possible? The FBI just told you it absolutely happened. What more do you need?
But this is the way it is, okay? I did the same thing in ChatGPT, which is a little bit different, and it only comes up with a story out of Europe. No stories from any American news sites. It says we've searched 5 sites. This is all we found. Former President Donald Trump was shot in the ear during a campaign rally.
How about I asked it a different question? I said, what is a Donald Trump? Still would not give me an answer.
What is a Donald Trump?
I then asked, what is a Sasquatch? It says, Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot, is a large, hairy, human-like creature alleged to inhabit the forests of North America, particularly the Pacific Northwest.
It can tell you what a Sasquatch is.
But it can't tell me if Donald Trump was shot.
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
And that is your social media and your media for you.
That is why you cannot listen to them. That's why you have to weed through the nonsense to get to some sort of truth.
I told you the Sasquatch was real.
Yeah.
Donald Trump being shot in the face?
Yeah.
Open to interpretation.
That's right.
Well, that's how the Aunt Pegs, get started. This is why the Aunt Pegs and the ridiculous people on the left who believe and become useful idiots, this is why they are the way they are. The press has done this.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. When we continue, we'll knock out the headlines. The 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution. 200,000 projects. Incredible work. I've worked with them. You should too. 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. What's the hard cost to you directly as a result of the Biden and Harris administration? The number is astounding. And I'll share it with you next on Extra 106.3.
During the craziest election season we've ever experienced, you need a voice you can trust. Not headlines, not former shock jocks, but veterans, conservative leaders, and Atlanta talk radio legends.
This is the ballgame. This is for all the marbles. This is like
this for the country.
This is 8 years of turmoil.
Count on the conservative voice of Atlanta to bring you the biggest names in politics as this wild election season changes by the day. This is Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I've been telling you about Southern Exteriors for a little while now, but I want you to meet them in person, and you can do that starting today. Southern Exteriors will be at the Build Expo now through August 1st, so today and tomorrow, Cobb Galleria, Halls C and D. Come over there and visit them. They'll be at booth 440. You can learn more about their top quality services, see their latest projects, and they'll be there to discuss a potential project with you. You've heard me talk about them. You want to go double check me. You should go talk to them. And you'll see that they operate just as I've told you they have. Over 200,000 projects that they have in their portfolio. If there's something going on in the exterior of your home, they can fix, repair, or make it all better. They can fix the problem. They can repair the problem or replace, like in the case of a roof. We've had so much rain lately. They can either fix that roof leak, they can repair that roof leak, or if you need be, and if it is beyond repair, they can put on a new roof for you. Over 2 decades, 200,000 projects. Go meet them at the Cobb Galleria today and tomorrow. They'll be out there. So Southern Exteriors is the way to go if you want something done. Roofing, siding, gutters, millwork, porches, windows, doors, exterior remodeling, new construction too. They do it all at Southern Exteriors. They will not make you wait. Call them now, 8779-SOUTHERN or southernexteriors.co.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now is a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after the sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to the Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
It either is or it isn't. When it comes down to it, that's all that really matters when choosing a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. It's either certified by Mercedes-Benz factory-trained and certified technicians, or it isn't. It's either backed by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 7 years, or it isn't. It's absolute confidence in genuine Mercedes-Benz parts, or it isn't. Welcome to the Mercedes-Benz Dream Days sales event, now through July 31st. Come in today and take advantage of finance rates as low as 2.99% APR special financing on select models. Because in the end, it's either Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned, or it isn't. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Not all offers apply to all vehicles, and special financing available to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Services through July 31st, 2024. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call 770-390-0700 for details.
Marketing is everywhere. From the billboards on the highways to the notifications on your phone, we are constantly bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff. What makes good marketing? Are you doing enough in your life personally and professionally to market yourself? You have questions, and the Marketing Madmen have answers. Tune in every Saturday, now at 4 p.m., right here on Extra 106.3 to get practical marketing advice from expert guests who are shaping and reshaping the business world. They say marketing is a madman's game. Join the Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out why.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We looked up like 40 minutes ago, or at least 30 minutes ago, and Pete Davis was walking in the building. I mean, they go on the air at 3. Yeah. What? Look, Lord's name is happening.
Car dealership, gotta get some service done.
So
the man of the mountain came out of the mountain. And said,
Let me tell you what happened. Kimmer was in the trunk. He drove it off the side of the road. And he walked the rest of the way here, and he's going to sit and wait for his opportunity to do the show by himself now.
I would like to think that Pete makes it a point, like once a month, he comes out of the mountains with a walking stick, and he comes and get news for the townspeople, and he heads back.
like an old hitchhiker or something.
Right.
The Macon Mountain Daily.
That's right.
He opens it up to the paper.
What's going on over in the city? And he tells stories about, and of course, he's sitting in the middle of the town square,
in the middle of the street,
and he tells the whole town about what the city folk are doing.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. There's men.
He
wearing
reads
dresses
to the people of the mountains of Macon.
They got that Olympics thing going again,
dude. I tell you what,
men in beards.
You won't believe what they did at the Olympics.
It's devil worship all around.
They're men naked.
Yeah,
that were trying to be women.
I saw a man's junk out.
Yeah, seriously.
The Olympics.
Dude had a baguette in his swim trunks. It was amazing.
I just like the scenarios that we've
all of them just sitting in their overalls,
and
Indian style.
They're all just sitting there waiting to hear what else Pete has to say to them.
What else is the city boy going to tell us?
Tell us what else they doing down there.
The devil. That's what they're doing. They're hanging out with the devil. Beelzebub, Lucifer. He's hanging out down there too. Goodness, and he's wearing a dress. Damn. No, it's so funny.
You know what they use guns for down in the city? Shooting each other.
Crime. Don't go down there.
They do crime.
By the time it's done, it'll be like if you ever seen the movie The Waterboy, how his mom makes everything into the devil.
The devil.
They'll all be like, the devil's down in Atlanta. Good thing we have Pete to go down there and tell us about what's going on.
That's a brave man.
Mama, I was down there talking to the great Pete, and he said they have men that think they're women. They actually cut off their thingy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, don't trust Pete. He's exaggerating.
I think he's been drinking heavily. Y'all see the Babylon Bee? Speaking of the devil, y'all see the Babylon Bee post?
The video?
Yeah, the video.
Yeah.
It's like 6 minutes long. Satan asked the Democrats to tone down all the evil.
And the comedy of it is that each one of the people at the table is basically arguing or pointing out how, no, you don't understand, I'm a trans activist, and they're all individual, and then he's just like, oh, okay. Just tone it down a little bit.
Just back it off. Turn it down from 11 to maybe, 9 or whatever. Babylon Bee never misses, and the devil's just this
did you see
with just red with the horns?
Did you see the Jesus video? If Jesus was woke,
yes. This is from last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So good. Dude, the Babylon Bee never misses. I've never seen them swing and miss. I'm sure they have. Yeah. I'm sure it's happened. Nobody's perfect, with the exception of one. I've never seen the Babylon Bee miss. So If you've seen the Mist, please let me know because I could be way wrong, but I've just not seen it, and they continue.
They're more reliable with their news than CNN, MSNBC,
or
NBC and ABC.
Yeah,
CBS. Throw them in there too.
The AJC this morning, reporting that Kamala's it's the biggest event of her campaign so far. Dude, they came to see Quavo and Megan Thee Stallion.
She was
or Meg Thee Stallion, whatever it is.
She was
Megan Stallion.
And this is the game that's going on because remember, she did a solo appearance. 60 people showed up over the weekend.
Yes.
She came to a concert.
That's right.
All right.
Give your example.
Here's a campaign event. Here's what we're doing. And the example is, as I said before, we could do a show at a Barnes & Noble and we'd have, 20 people show up, say hey, whatever. It'd be a nice little turnout. Barnes & Noble would be happy. 20 more people came over here.
Absolutely.
If we went and did it at a Kenny Chesney concert,
woo!
Look at all these thousands of people that came out to check us out.
Bunch of rednecks out there. They all believe everything we believe. Woohoo!
And we set up a tent and we claim, hey, look what we did.
And they brought that big old carved ice thing that they take tequila shots off of. Which
that's what she has done.
Yeah, I know.
She's padded the visual by making sure that she's going to places where people already are.
Thank you, Board Up Joe. Ice luge.
Yes. I drank Four Loko out of that one time.
Man.
Drank what?
Four Loko? Okay.
Out of an ice luge?
I don't even know what that is.
All right, so this
it's like cocaine like a cocaine drink.
All right, so this goes back about 14 years. And now I'm kind of curious about this because if we're talking about the timing, you didn't really have Four Loko.
It was not original Four Loko. That ended when I was about 14. I was 17 at this point, visiting Alabama.
For everyone who has no idea what this is,
okay, so this is mostly you. This is mostly you.
No, but I bet there's plenty of people listening right now who have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, hit us up on Twitter. Let me know if you know what Four Loko is. So Four Loko was a brand of alcohol. It was a drink.
Malt beverage.
Buy it in a can.
Right.
And we're talking about loaded up with all sorts of caffeine and alcohol and everything
it's
else.
Like Jolt.
Yes.
Just with
liquor.
alcohol.
Yeah. Liquor drink.
And it's like my Mountain Dew Baja Blast where I pour my vodka in. Very similar to that, but even stronger and will make you run through a wall.
And I think this was right around, because by 2010, it was sort of on its way out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you started to have the FDA and everybody else get involved being like, you can't sell this current formulation the way that you're doing it, because it was giving heart issues to young people, including killing some of them.
Yeah, it was bad.
And so by the time they reformulated it, it then became this black market issue. So like we talked about our friend Hoyt. Hoyt came over to my house in 2011, and he went over to the liquor store down the street, and he asked the owner, he's like, do you have Four Loko? And he's like, yeah, it's over there. He's like, no, do you have Four Loko? And he took him to the back room.
Winked.
What? The stuff that they could not sell on the shelves anymore.
So they just put it in the back, and if anybody asked for it,
they would sell it to you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Deviously brilliant.
The new stuff is... I mean, it's not much better.
I've never gotten to that, but I did do a Jaeger shot off an ice block once.
Yeah, I did some tequila
The very
shots.
pretty girl doing that at Mako's back in the day at Buckhead's.
Yeah, there you go. Four Loko. This is just way past. Completely missed this.
So if you drink Four Loko, you begin to laugh like Kamala Harris. Seriously. You just start cackling like a hyena.
Take that off the market immediately.
All right, so in 2009,
there it is.
Here we go.
Oh, it's like a bad
Four
dream.
Loko flashback.
A group of U.S. state attorney generals began investigations of the companies that produce and sold caffeinated alcoholic beverages on the grounds that they were being inappropriately marketed to teenage audiences. And eventually this all went to Four Loko. Four Loko because of the hospitalization of 17 students.
Good Lord.
at a college in New Jersey. That was another one where when Four Loko was being consumed on campus.
Good. How much did it cost?
It wasn't pricey.
Like $3 for a huge can.
Yeah, they were like big can. Put it this way.
$3?
If you had one can, all right, somebody would sell you one can. By the time you had a second can, your day was going to be close to being over.
Oh, wow. Goodness gracious. I mean, I'd like to try one.
Just another thing the liberals have taken from us.
What you do is go to the back of the liquor store, knock on the door.
Yeah, I don't think there's any left, though. He says 2010. I know, right?
I mean, if you can find an original Four Loko.
Good Lord, I think it'd be...
Hit me up.
Add your time version.
I'll pay a pretty penny.
We'll make
that might be like $20 for the can for you to try original Four Loko.
Wow. Intern Andrew, does he know? Does
Four Loko ring a bell with you at all?
Do you know about Four Loko? You have to turn that microphone on there.
Yeah, your microphone's off there.
It is.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay,
I've never had one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, well, I'm surprised because
he's a good boy. That's why.
Yeah, well, that was the first
Yeah,
reason,
but I
because
mean,
he's a good kid.
you got off the naval ship, but you didn't rejoin us yet. Because Four Loko, that was a controversial issue on campuses, especially tailgating.
2010, I was out of the Navy by 20. I've been out of the Navy 10
That's
years.
what I'm saying. You spent 10 years in a hole. How did you miss the whole tailgate culture with Four Loko?
I don't know, because that was right in the prime of doing mornings on the country station, being at every tailgate and doing the ice sculpture, what'd you call it? Luge?
The
ice luge, doing those things.
On November 17, 2010, the United States Food and Drug Administration issued a warning letter to 4 manufacturers of caffeinated alcoholic beverages, citing that the caffeine added to their malt alcoholic beverages was unsafe as a food additive.
Good Lord.
No doubt.
I love it.
So they had to reformulate. But old Four Loko?
I love it. I'm telling you, man, I completely missed it. And
Hunter Biden used to snort it.
Yeah,
I bet.
Four Loko was like the official.
Yeah.
He's like
he's on the can.
He got an NIL with Four Loko.
Yeah, they did a can with him. It wasn't very popular. Man standing around in his underwear, but whatever.
That's exactly with lots of
Coke straw stuck in his nose.
Have you ever wondered what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being in the White House has cost you? I know the answer. $15,788 to be exact. No matter what, moving forward, that number is going to stay the same. If Kamala Harris were to be elected, elected, it's hard to figure out how she is, what to say about her. If she is elected, then that number is either going to continue staying about the same, or it will continue to rise. It's in your best interest to vote for Donald Trump, even if you don't like him all that well. At least it won't cost you $15,788 a year more that you could have to do whatever it is you want. Like for me, I don't know, remodel a bathroom, pay for a semester of college,
get my house painted,
get your dadgum house painted with Southern exteriors. I mean, you could do 1,000 things. Keep the money in your pocket, because the federal government, when they get it, they're going to waste it. So the fact that they have run up your cost of living, the cost to buy a home, the cost to buy gas, the cost to buy groceries, the cost to buy anything, the fact that they've done that should be reason enough for you to not vote for this crazy woman.
I don't believe that number.
That's probably low.
I think that's low, because I don't think they've taken everything into effect, including the property taxes that are going up every single day. They don't take things into effect like what the Georgia Power is doing to their customers, now almost 88% up from their bills from the year before. This is ridiculous. Or maybe 88% is a little high, I think. But what they're doing is going to take away from you every single day. Now, that's part of their plan. They want you to depend on the government. They want to be able to give you a check for $1,200 anytime they need to, just to kind of keep you in line and keep you doing the things you do. But I think the American people realize they don't want that option. They want the option to be able to keep their money. And I hope that will be something that people look at and go, wow, I lost a lot of money over the last 3.5 years.
I don't know how you don't
I know
look at it that way. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's so obvious. Everybody knows it.
I'm trying to remember he's an attorney. He's on Twitter. He's a wild propagandist for the left. And he was making the point about how, hey, look, inflation's down to 2%. And the government was able to get it down to 2% while avoiding recession. That's incredible. And every response for like the next 20 is like, you idiot. Like, you keep throwing out this stuff. And the cumulative amount of inflation over the last 3.5 years is a better part of 20 to 30%, depending on the products.
Yeah, and that's where that number $15,788 comes from. Written by Clyde Wayne Cruz and the folks at Competitive Enterprise Institute. They wrote this and they released it on Tuesday.
So do the voters for this party not see it? Like, they have to see this every single day, so I don't understand. Like, that's the kind of idiocy that I can't stand. The fact that you know that inflation isn't 2%, that it's actually up to a number about 9% that people can't handle. The fact that it's just compounding in the numbers they use and the data they play with, that you continue to fall for this and think the economy is great, the country's moving in great direction, that the border is secure. Like, why do you fall for these silly little traps?
Tristan Snell, and his tweet was, breaking inflation now back to normal historical level of 2%. Oh, I'm sure he's compensated to play this game.
Well, sure. Oh, yeah, he's paid agitator.
Like, this is what you're doing. He says, according to the latest calculations underlying inflation by the New York branch of the Federal Reserve, only the second time in American history that the government has alleviated inflation without causing a recession. And one person after the next is like, dude, until we have negative inflation.
That's how it corrects itself.
That's how it corrects itself.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. It's unreal. And that's the reason.
Lawyer, legal commentator, fighter for democracy, prosecuted Trump University at New York AG, commentator, MSNBC. He's playing the game.
Of course. And
but
he's a like so many others,
but again,
SC Cup and all of them.
Real world people know. The real ones know. All of you out there that are real ones, you know. Yes. You know what it is. That $16,000, that's real.
Absolutely. And you don't have it. Vote accordingly. The 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution. 200,000 projects is proof. Visit them, southernexteriors.co.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, July 31st. 34-year-old Sean Patrick Cirillo pleaded guilty to threatening to kill U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and her staff. Cirillo was arrested in November after he called Congresswoman Greene's congressional office in Washington, D.C. and said, "I got a bead on her like a sniper rifle, and I'm going to kill her next week. I'm going to murder her." A federal magistrate judge noted in November that Cirillo had a mental illness and was not taking his medication. He faces up to 5 years in prison. Vice President Harris hosted thousands of supporters at a concert last night in downtown Atlanta. According to the Harris campaign, it was the biggest Democratic rally of the campaign cycle to date. The event also included performances from hip-hop stars Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo. Harris was also joined by U.S. Senators John Ossoff, Raphael Warnock, and gubernatorial loser Stacey Abrams. And in sports, Jared Kelenic hit a home run and a double, and Austin Riley went 4 for 5 as the Braves beat the Milwaukee Brewers 5-1 last night. Bryce Elder came out and carried a shutout into the 7th inning, allowing only 1 run and striking out 7 in the win. The Braves will close out their series with the Brewers this afternoon at 2:10. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
The difference between Trump and Harris supporters, live on camera next as we wrap up the bonus hour and this Wednesday edition of the Morning Xtra.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
It's that time of year again when the owner of Central Heating and Air Conditioning, Chuck, brings back the 4th annual Christmas in July, benefiting Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Hey, it's Tug for Central Heating and Air Conditioning. If you want to help give back to the community, all you have to do is sign up for a maintenance agreement with Central Heating and Air Conditioning, and $10 from every new maintenance agreement will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. The more maintenance agreements you sign up for, the bigger and better we can make the 4th annual Christmas in July for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Central services all makes and models. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and they've serviced over 100,000 customers right here in Atlanta. So call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com to sign up for a maintenance agreement and help Chuck and Central Heating and Air give back to the community. Carrier products, carrier warranty, and carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride.
Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
UCB Inc. has openings for Associate General Counsel, Neurology and Rare Disease U.S. located in Smyrna, Georgia. Job duties include providing day-to-day in-house legal support to the U.S. Rare Disease and Neurology Organization and its U.S. portfolio and sit on the Rare Disease leadership team at the global level. This is a full-time position. Multiple positions available. Travel required up to 15% of working time, typically 2 to 3 international trips per year and approximately 3 domestic trips per year. Position based in Smyrna, Georgia. Telecommuting permitted up to 60% of working time. Apply with resume to hranswers@ucb.com and reference job ID 5954074.
It's July 31st, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Avocado Day. This superfood is not simply the main ingredient to your favorite guacamole recipe. Avocados are rich in healthy fats, which make them the perfect addition to any meal or as an alternative to spreads on toast or sandwiches. The ancient Aztecs would beautify their skin using avocado masks, a practice which made its way into the modern cosmetic industry in the early 20th century. Also on this date, in 1994, longtime New York Yankees shortstop and broadcaster Phil Rizzuto was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
The only reason that I'm here today, believe it or not, is because of you fans, my family, my relatives, and all my friends.
Scooter was joined by Philadelphia Phillies pitcher Steve Carlton. If it's your birthday today, you share it with actor Dean Cain, born in 1966. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The Morning Extra is on till 10 a.m. and the live and local conservative talk continues on your drive home with The Kimmer Show, 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3.
It may take me, I don't know, a year and a half to get through it, but I've got a new book I need to start reading. The Parasitic Mind, How Infectious Ideas Are Killing. What's the rest of it? The killing common sense. There we go. Lost it. I was looking at Amazon and it chopped it off. I was like, wait a minute. I have it right in front of me. Why is it gone? Do you know why all of a sudden I have an interest in this book? Because I just saw a tweet from Elon Musk that said, read The Parasitic Mind, How Infectious Ideas Are Killing Common Sense. And it makes so much sense because you watch what's happening on TV every day. You hear what's happening on the radio every day. You see what's happening around you in the world every day. And the world has lost its common sense. Nothing adds up. Nothing makes sense. So if that's something that you're interested in, maybe you'll get a copy of it too. They have it on Amazon. It came out in 2020. And it looks like it's about, $30 or so. The hardcover's, paperback's $15. Even better. Read this book to strengthen your resolve and help us all return to reason. That's according to Jordan Peterson. So some reading maybe you can start doing. Although, I don't know. Maybe you get the audiobook. Maybe that's the way to go. You're an audiobook guy, aren't you, Lowe's?
Yeah, I enjoy the audiobook.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do more of that. But I don't know about y'all. Like, I have to really dial in on whatever it is. I used to be able to multitask. As I've gotten older, my ability to multitask is gone. Like, I mean, if I'm driving down the road listening to a podcast or listening to the Kimmer this afternoon, whatever, I'm driving down the road and I notice a billboard. Like, if that instant that my mind is gone from it, I won't check back into what I'm listening to for another minute, and I'll have to back it all up because I have one track mind.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wish I could multitask. I cannot. I wish there was a way. Is there a way that you can improve that? Is there like techniques that you can do to not be so distracted?
Well, your focus, your mind. I mean, part of the reason why I like Encapsulate is because I feel like I'm pretty focused on things on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that helps the mind health, the brain health.
All right, so I'm gonna maybe take some.
Maybe you should get back on.
Yeah, maybe we should.
I don't know why you're like, well, I'm not really sure.
No, I never said I wasn't sure. I just said I can't really tell a difference. I haven't. I've not been able to tell a difference.
My rest and I was joking around with our general sales manager because yesterday he was advocating for. Now, I'll put this to you guys. If the Braves traded their closer yesterday, what would that say?
Probably throwing in the towel.
If they traded Sean Murphy yesterday, this dude was advocating for this because he's like, well, they're close to the luxury limit. I mean, you should probably make these trades. I go, you're going to basically signal to all your fan base that you're giving up on the season because you want to save 10 positions in the draft.
Yeah.
I was like, that's bad business. But yet I'm getting argued this by somebody who does business professionally. Do you see why I tell you what I'm surrounded by? Do you see what I deal with?
You have to deal with all that, man. I really do. Like, I was given the rundown.
But I could have gone after him, but I didn't because I was focused on kindness.
Yes, that's right. Look, it's what the good book says to do. That's why I try to live that way every day. I fail every day, but I try to live that way.
It was a really dumb opinion. I just should have outed it a lot earlier.
But like the argument that I got was Alex Anthopoulos, his strategy of signing really, really good ball players at earlier on, so you have to pay them less and you keep them longer, was a bad idea. That's what I got pitched yesterday by the same guy. I was like, wait, what?
Wait, the same guy did that to you?
Yeah.
Man, he's dumb.
Handsome devil, though. Handsome devil.
Just can't believe he's running such an important aspect of this company.
He needs to re-examine baseball for sure.
I have very little hope.
Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. So if you were to wander through a Trump rally with a Kamala Harris shirt on, or vice versa, a Kamala Harris rally with a Trump shirt on, how do you feel you would be treated? I'm going to give you a little audio piece of someone who has already done that for you.
Right into the Biden protest with the Trump shirt. Get your ass across the street. What the f*** is everyone so hostile?
Go over there with your people.
You guys are my people. Look.
No, you're not.
No, Biden says children, not Trump. No, stop. Don't sniff. Stop, I'm blending in. Why is everyone so angry?
Fucking dumb or stupid.
I'm just walking the sidewalk. You see how much hate it is over here? It's a public sidewalk. I feel like I'm gonna get jumped out. Oh. So when you poured water on me, did it make you feel happy? Yeah. I have to change shirts. Can I hide behind you?
So he's switching to the Trump.
Well, now he's putting on the Biden shirt to go walk in the Trump people.
Okay. I was feeling crazy today. Hey, come on. It's just so much more respect over here. I'm here for my favorite president, Biden 2024. I want to sniff children.
Yeah. So, like, he got screamed at, things thrown at him, cursed at on the Biden side wearing, or a Kamala Harris side wearing a Trump T-shirt. Flip the script, he goes the other side, and people are laughing with him, goofing with him a little bit.
Yeah, they're being respectful.
I'm sure there are exceptions to that. I am sure of it. But I can't help what he posted.
But what happens?
And I know what the level of anger on the other side.
But what happens after 8 years? What happens after 4 years? What happens after 2.5 years, where the President of the United States has said that these people are enemies of the state?
Yeah. You are a threat to democracy.
They have been given authorization to treat you in the way that any communist would treat any free-loving people. You've been given permission by the president to say, treat these people extremely poorly.
And yet, at the very same
time,
time,
fellow Americans,
on the other side of your mouth, because he talks out of both, or has talked out of both sides of his mouth, he says, turn the temperature down. Turn the temperature down.
Well, only because he's going to lose an election because his opponent got shot.
Yeah, right. Turn the temperature down.
Donald Trump doesn't get shot.
Oh, yeah.
Biden's still in this thing.
Absolutely. He went out kicking and screaming. We know that. We know he went out kicking. He had no plans to step down. Zero plans. They threatened him with the 25th. Finally, he does. But I'm telling you, man, I've seen it over and over. I've seen it with my own friend group. People who are liberals usually are angry at their core, and I can't figure out as to why. Well, I mean, I probably have a few ideas.
But you have to start, fundamentally, you have to start with the modern liberal as a victim. And everyone who's a victim is going to be angry.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah, that's where it all begins.
If you feel that you have somehow been taken advantage of, Rhino, that somehow life didn't work out, and whether you want to blame it on the man, you want to blame it on somebody who had money, you want to blame it on whatever, they have to start with victimhood, and that's where the anger originates.
Yeah, I mean, because that's where they know they can get the most emotion and the most reaction and the most violence and the most, what they call emotion and the protest, and to be able to change that entire view of, hey, don't worry about issues, worry about emotion.
That's the way it works. That's why they're always angry, and you just heard an audio presentation of it. Are there people that are more gruff, that are more rigid on the Trump side? Absolutely, for sure. But by and large, that's a pretty good representation, I believe. That'll do it for us here on Extra 106.3 and the Morning Extra. We're going to turn it over to Glenn Beck. He'll be on until noon. Then Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, noon to 3, local afternoon show with the Kimber Pete and Flounder, the Kimber Show, 3 until 6. This afternoon on Extra 9 o'clock hour, brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution. Over 200,000 projects. You can find them easily on the web, southernexteriors.co. It's southernexteriors.co. For Rhino, Los, and Boardop, Goey, Virgin River, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, yeah?
Extra 106.3 is committed to bringing you the local and national perspective you need and hearing your voice leading up to the election.
There are things that really worry me now about the upcoming election. It is inconceivable that the people of this country would ever vote for Kamala Harris for president. She is without accomplishment.
Proud to be Atlanta's conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.